Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Korean StarCraft League, the KSL week number 41. I'm, of course, your host, Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the lovely people in the chat, by my plushies, and it's been quite some time. It's been, what, 8 hours since our last broadcast. WTL went on so long last night. It was like a 7-hour cast. I was not ready. I was not prepared for a 7-hour WTL cast, but it was amazing. It was beautiful. I highly recommend checking out the VODs. Really good matches, really cool insight. We got some interviews with some of the players. Ooh. And now we have returned with your weekly dose of Korean StarCraft League. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. A lot of matches are ensuing, and we have our first PvP before you. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Solaris, we have the red Protoss player from the land of South Korea representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player. Currently teamless, was at one point representing Maturino, currently looking for a team. It is Nightmare. Here we go again. The bracket is live. Plenty of matches going to be going on. But I should also mention as well, if you want to support the Korean StarCraft League, !KSL in the chat, and you will get a link to the Patreon. KSL, of course, has a Patreon. It is fully funded by the community, for the community. So thank you so much for everyone that does contribute. And again, if you want to take part in supporting the Korean scene, if you want your own replay packs as well from these tournaments, then you can gain that by that Patreon. I'm bringing this up very quickly just because There was an announcement recently. KSL was a weekly for a long time for its first year. This is our first year of Korean StarCraft League. It's been very successful. We even had extra funds initially for a KSL Summer Slam. But the KSL, the support has been waning a little bit. It has been waning, and it was recently announced that because of the reduced funds in the Patreon, this will no longer be a weekly tournament. This will be a bi-weekly tournament. So instead, it's going to be every 2 weeks. Which, you know, makes sense. You know, initially there was a lot of hype, and now kind of some of the hype has died down, some of the sport has waned, and, you know, hopefully we can get back up to that kind of weekly status, but we'll see. Regardless, the KSL will go on, whether in weekly or bi-weekly form, it'll be there. It will be there, and the next KSL is in 2 weeks as a result, not next week. So it's a little bit bittersweet, definitely, but you know, it's fine. We will go on, and again, we do have a lot of love for all the supporters in the chat. As we're getting into this, so far it's going to be a 2-gate double Adept opener here from Classic. It's going to be a 2-gate double Stalker opener out of Nightmare. So very similar openers when it comes to the build of choice, but the units are quite different here, as Nightmare is going to be having a more robust start to this game. Classic going for the Robo in the main. Oh, show us the third gateway. The beginnings of potentially a 1-base all-in from a Classic. I'm here for the aggression. I'm ready to wake up this lovely Saturday morning. As the Adepts are moving out, the Adepts have been spotted, they've been scouted, they will shut down the probe. And behind this, again, with this fast robot, we can gain access to fast immortal production, more importantly, a fast warp prism to reinforce across the map. And again, I'm waiting for the third gateway. There it is. Third gateway's on the way. 1-base all-in. 1-base all-in from a Classic. It's all or nothing from our red Protoss player. Meanwhile, Nightmare back at home is in the dark. He is unaware of what's going on because he opened up double Stalker, because he did not open up Sentry or Adept. He has no way of scouting. There we go. Sentry now on the way, but it's a very late Sentry opener here from Nightmare. We'll see if he can come on, as the Adepts are going to be threatening a shade across the map. Shield battery is on the way. Again, Nightmare is expanding. Nightmare is exposing himself. And Classic is here to punish him, as the Adepts are going to be threatening shades here towards that natural. If possible, sniping these sentries would be ideal, as Nightmare is still unawares as to how aggressive Classic is being. Here we go. The Prism is on the way. Stalker production is continuing. You see Classic is Adepts are being caught out, so they're going to be zoned away here towards the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Prism has arrived, and here we go. We are pushing. Classic is pushing right through the center. Nightmare is still in the dark. We do have those sentries with hallucinations. Nightmare hasn't been skipping warp-ins. He has a decent Stalker army. He has a shield battery. He will soon have an overcharge. But the power of the Prism means that we can actually bypass the shield battery. We can go straight into the main. We can go straight into the main base instead. We have options. Here we go. It's going to be a Blink follow-up here from Nightmare, but can Blink even finish this game? Stalker's ferrying into the main base, and again, Nightmare, he doesn't see, he doesn't know. He does not see. Hallucination now is coming in, but such a late scout from Nightmare. Now he realizes, oh, it's an all-in. Now he knows, and the army has already arrived. They're going straight onto that pylon. Big force field on top of the ramp. Overcharge is within range, forcing a recall into the main base as well. Nightmare going to be bypassing that wall. Gets into the main as well. There is no shield battery. Boys, they're being pulled. They have to be. And so far, Nightmare, can he hold on? He's getting on top of the Prism. The Warp Prism is going to go down. Big cancellation of the Warp in. And Classic is going to tap out. GG gets called. Nightmare holds and takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. It was a cheeky move for Classic to go for the force field on the ramp, but really quick reaction there from Nightmare to recall into his own main base to be able to get past that force field. And in the end, again, very important that even though Nightmare didn't scout, even though he didn't know what was happening, he wasn't skipping warp-ins. He had a decent Stalker-based army, and he was able to react well enough to shut down the Prism, shut down the all-in. GG. GG, very well played here. Nightmare going to be taking a lead in this series, and it's a best of 3. One more win is all he needs. Again, on paper, I should talk about the players. On paper, Classic is the stronger player. You know, I would say that he is more well-rounded. When it comes to some of these other matchups, I would give the edge to Classic. But specifically in PvP, this is where Nightmare thrives. Nightmare, we've seen him beat Hero, we've seen him beat Creator, we've seen him beat Classic before as well. So this is more back and forth. I expect an ace match, and again, even if we get that far, could go either way. But here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Protoss player representing Twisted Minds, struggling in game 1 to pull off that one base all-in. Looking to fight back. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player representing himself, currently teamless, but deserving to be on a team. So again, keep your eye out, and if you're a team owner, consider him, as he's an amazing player. South Green Protoss, Nightmare. Here we go. And the PvPs will continue. Now we're loading into Oceanborn, a very small map. Short rush distance by ground does mean that aggressive play can be favored on a map like this. We have seen a lot of proxies, a lot of all-ins on or take place on Oceanborn, but we'll see. We'll see if Classic commits. We'll see if Nightmare turns the tables on Classic and Nightmare instead goes for a one-base all-in. It's possible. It is possible. Again, Nightmare only needs one more, uno más, to advance on into the next round. Classic looking to fight back. Meanwhile, we have a probe being sent out. Likewise, Classic going for his own probe scout. And the goal of these scouts are to get a read on the second pylon placement, to make sure that everything is where it should be. Uh-oh. Hello? Monsieur Probe, we are not scouting. We are chilling here in the center of the map, and the second pylon has been thrown down. Nightmare is going to be committing, and this is going to be a really interesting proxy location. Doesn't look ideal for a proxy Stargates. Could be a robo or it could be a fake, as we are going for a scout. Okay. So Classic knows. He knows that the pylon is missing. He's fully aware that something is wrong. Little does he know, it is a fake proxy pylon. There's nothing really committed to it, and as a result, Classic has to send out a second probe to scout. So this is going to be a little bit of an inefficient opener at a Classic. He does get eyes on the probe. That is going to give him a bit of a tell on where the pylon could be. Ooh, as he is checking, and he will scout. Very nicely done here. Very early scout from Classic. He does come across the pylon. He is now aware that it's a fake. And now he can focus on his own game. There we go. Does have confirmation. Meanwhile, Nightmare gets into the main base. Does get eyes on the two pylons. Is aware that everything is looking as it should for Classic. We have our sentry follow-up, and we're getting into our game. Probe is killed. It was double adept once again from Classic, so he's going to be zooming across the map. Goes for the expansion. We have a longer game. Meanwhile, Nightmare, never mind. So Classic is going for a 2-gate opener into an expansion. Meanwhile, Nightmare throws out, it isn't a proxy, but it is a one-base all-in. That's a robo, that's a gateway. One base all-in here out of Nightmare. We should be seeing a Warp Prism and continued Stalker production. The turns have been tabled. Fun fact, this is the same build that Classic did in Game 1. Now it's been reversed, and now it's going to be used on Classic instead. Now it's going to be on Classic to get a read on what's going on. We do have Adepts threatening a shade. We should be able to wall off in time as we get eyes on the lack of expansion. Robo is on the way. Classic, he does recognize how much danger he's in. Doesn't know what's coming, but, I mean, he sees the lack of expansion. So he knows that something is wrong. With this Robo, Immortal production. We have a second pylon in the main base. Shield battery on the low ground. So far, no hallucination scouts yet. So Classic is still a little bit in the dark, but even though he doesn't know what's coming, again, he's preparing very well. Second shield battery on the way, soon to be an overcharge. Of course, defensive immortals, or a Warp Prism to juggle, to micro. So far, Classic is preparing. Looking at the units tab, Nightmare, he has 9 Stalkers compared to the 3 of Classic. Good force fields. Oh, and he barely gets 1. 1 Stalker goes down. It did cost a lot of force fields, though, bear that in mind. It was a good pick off trading energy for units. But here we go, the Prism has arrived. We're reinforcing. Nightmare is committed. Classic, he starts up his first Immortal. It's halfway done. The Immortal is on the way. Nightmare pushing in. He wants to focus on those sentries. Gets 1. So far, good juggling as well, keeping his Stalkers alive. Oh, not losing anything yet. We do have the overcharge. Despite it, we can 2-shot. Yeah, we can 2-shot these Stalkers. They're going down one after the other. We're down to 2 Stalkers. We're down to only 2. The overcharge buying some time. The Immortal has arrived. And with the arrival of the Immortal, Nightmare is being forced back. Again, this army is so battered, so bruised, so low. Classic is maybe overextending. We're pretty far out. Yeah, Nightmare, he can take a fight. Again, there's no shield battery to support. The force fields are thrown down. We want the Immortal. Up. We're going for the dive on the Immortal. Sentry does fall. Shield batteries are running out of energy. And the Immortal is going to get shut down just barely. Did survive quite some time. A second Immortal arrives as well. And once again, Classic barely holds. I was concerned the Classic was overextending, and he did lose an Immortal as a result, but now with the second Immortal, he has more than enough. He can fight this back. Once again, we need to calm down. I mean, oh my god, Classic. Ay. Okay, really good juggling here out of Nightmare. He wants to chase this down. He does trigger the shields. Does trigger the shields on that Immortal. Once again, he's going for a dive. Another Immortal pops out just in time as well. We have the overcharge. And it looks like Classic, yeah, he has held. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Classic. The Prism goes down, and that's going to be it at this point. Nightmare, he has run out of steam. He's got another wave of reinforcements. He almost broke Classic. He almost did kill him. He was so close to breaking this natural base. But the Immortals, every single time they came out just in time. Nightmare still committed. Did go for his own Immortal. He's rebuilding that War Prism. He is still doubling down. Can he somehow catch these Immortals of Classic? He's going for the dive, but it's a numbers game at this point, and the numbers in favor of Classic. Behind this, he's up in workers, up in economy, up in bases. Overcharge is soon to reset. 3 Immortals now. Nightmare, the only chance that Nightmare really has at this point is if Classic splits up his army. If Nightmare is able to catch the Stalkers on their own, or the Immortals on their own. This is another way. We do go for a wave of Adepts. We're going into the main. Nightmare, he's looking to cripple the economy of Classic. And he's going to attempt to transition out of this. Adepts are on the way, but the Prism got scouted. The Prism was seen, and Classic is getting in position. Yeah, Classic, he denies the Prism. Behind this, we're continuing Immortal production. The other thing to bear in mind is that there is no blink, so sentries and force fields could slice up the army and allow for a better fight for Nightmare. As he moves out, here comes the Immortal drop into the main base. We're going for the workers that we barely have. The boys are being pulled, the probes are going down. We can't afford to lose any of these workers at this point, and we're going for a massive shade across the map. We have Adepts. We can kill workers, potentially. There's that recall back home. 12 workers went down. Nightmare down to 10 probes. And the wall is up. Classic looking even more solid at this point. Nightmare trying to figure out a way to make this work. Goes to the Immortals into the main. He's going to be able to pick off a pylon. Get a pylon in the end, can threaten a shade towards the natural. Again, with force fields, there's a world where maybe he can force field the ramp and again cut the army in half. But just like the last game, Classic can also recall to either base. Adepts are denied, and here we go. It's all or nothing for Nightmare. The shields are triggered on these Immortals. Classic, he is holding. There is still potential here, a little bit. Adepts, once again, their shade is denied. I love how active Classic is being with his War Prism to like juggle between his bases. You can see Classic rotating over. We do go for the force field. Half the army is stuck in the main base. We're going into the main. We're going for the dive. But again, we're in position so far. We have Immortals. We have the high ground as well. We're collapsing on this from behind. And Classic getting a full surround on this army. Again, initially, Nightmare almost pulled this off. But the Immortals are going down. There's just too much firepower here from a Classic. GG gets called. And Classic ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Again, Nightmare was close. He was very close to breaking that natural base. We had some really nice juggling, a really nice micro from Nightmare, keeping his Stalkers alive. But again, the all-in was shut down with the arrival of the Immortals. And a big reason for this is, remember, even before Classic scouted what was happening, even before he realized what was going on, he went for a robo. Very fast robo from Classic, which meant very fast Immortals just in time to defend. If the Immortals were even 5 seconds later, then Classic would have been in a much worse position, and he may have died. He may have died then and there to the all-in. So again, the Immortals were clutch every single time, and with that, Classic does hold. And now we're getting into game number 3, the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on hard lead. Now, game 1, Classic all-in. Game 2, Nightmare all-in. In game 3, do we both all-in, or do we both play macro? We'll see. well, we'll see, Pappy. We'll see. As here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of hard lead, we have the South Korean Protoss player. The red Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player from South Korea, representing himself, currently teamless. It is Nightmare. Catching up in the chat. I love you, CranKy Ducklings. Always watch your streams, because that way I can support a whole team and one that does a lot for the scene. Thank you so much for everything you do. Oh, thank you. We do appreciate it. We do what we can. You know, whether it's casting, we host our own tournaments, we try to support our own players as well. You know, we still have Dolan, we still have Babby Dolan, as well as Eric. So, yeah, thank you so much. We do appreciate the support, always. Thank you. And I hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy. See in the chat, will there be a 2024 GSL? Is Patreon still charging its patrons? Patreon is still charging its patrons, that is true. I don't think we have confirmation. I don't think we have confirmation yet on what the season will look like. We're just waiting for an announcement. But I think we all assume that because the Patreon is successful, that GSL will continue. But that's also an assumption, so bear that in mind. It is likely that GSL will continue, but not confirmed. Here we go. Classic going to be going for a 2-gate opener here. Back at home, likewise, Nightmare also going for a 2-gate opener as well. This time, no proxy pylon. We do have our second pylon here for Nightmare in the main, second pylon in the main base for Classic as well. So there's no proxies. Now, as we have already seen this series, just because there's no proxies doesn't mean it's not going to be an all-in. That is always available, that is always on the table. There we go, Adepts are on the way. Double Adept from Classic, double Adept from Nightmare. Both players opting to be aggressive. The way this works is the Adepts are going to be shading across the map. They do get across the map a little bit faster than Stalkers, of course, and that means that they can get some scouting information and also threaten and maybe even get some worker kills. As 2 Adepts do one-shot workers. Ooh, we're going double Adept into a 3rd and 4th Adept, and this usually means that we're going to be seeing a 5th and 6th Adept as well. So Nightmare committing to Adepts. Ooh, going for, yeah, Stargate opener behind this. So this is all about getting economic damage. We have Adepts to kill workers, we have Oracles to kill workers. Now this is not an all-in. Nightmare will be expanding, but it's a late expansion compared to Classic. That is why these Adepts and Oracles need to kill workers, because Nightmare is going to be slightly behind in the economy if he doesn't. Meanwhile, there we go. There is the 5th and 6th Adept across the map. Classic likewise committing to additional Adept production, going into his own natural base. So Classic's opener is a little bit more economic, but committing to Adepts nonetheless. Will we commit to the shade? Classic, a bit of a misstep here. Will be losing one of his Adepts. Ooh, we'll lose one, but the other will slip in. We get a full scout as well. Classic, he gets eyes on the Stargate as well as the Oracle that's on the way. He knows. He now is fully aware of what's going on, and behind this, shield battery is on the way, Stalker's being warped in. The likelihood of this Oracle getting damage done is very low. On top of that, Classic going for his own Stargate. It is quite later compared to his opponents, but the Stargate is on the way. And with that, we can start up Phoenix production or our own Oracles. Meanwhile, the wall is not a wall. Oh, Classic a bit out of position. We do shade in, and probes are going down. The shield battery can protect against the oracles, but not against the adepts. Oh, this is becoming too much. 7, 8 worker kills, soon to be 9, soon to be 10. And this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of control already. The adepts just getting far too much. 11 probes go down at the same time. It looks like Classic also slips into the main base. He also does slip in. He gets 8 worker kills. Suddenly, this isn't as impressive for Nightmare as we're not done. Classic shading into the main will be shut down. As the dust does settle, Nightmare is still ahead in the economy. Still has the oracles as well. He's going to be shading in for a second time. Doesn't commit. Does not commit. Nightmare does invest into that oracle. Meanwhile, Classic making a Phoenix back at home to defend. Classic down to 17 probes. Nightmare down to 24. So Nightmare still maintains a worker lead. Did a great job crippling the economy. Well, the oracle is going to be chased down. Adepts have arrived. And we can deny mining at the natural, but we cannot get into the main. Not anymore. Revelation does tag the Phoenixes. And Classic is continuing Phoenix production. Things initially were looking good for Classic with all of his scouting, but alas, the Adepts, they got into the main base, and now Nightmare has a massive advantage. Adepts, they do shade away. Behind this, Nightmare, he's just establishing himself, working on Stalkers, working on Blink, probing up. Again, Nightmare, he's chilling. He has a good economy. He's getting further ahead. Classic, he needs to come back in some way, shape, or form. He has potential to maybe kill some workers with these Phoenixes. He can catch and shut down a couple of units as well. Even the Oracle, he does dip into the main. Does kill a worker, does kill 2. Pretty good damage. And with this, he's evening up the worker count. 3 probe kills. Phoenixes are taking a lot of hits. Blink is revealed. We do get 1. 1 Phoenix for 3 probes. Adepts, they continue to threaten and shade. We do commit into the natural. We shade in. We get another 2 probes. Nightmare maintains his worker lead. And now we're pushing. Now we have a big timing on 2 bases with a Blink. And Nightmare, he doesn't want to allow Classic back in this game. Looking at the army tab here, Nightmare has almost double the Stalker count. The downside is that Nightmare doesn't have a War Prism, and he doesn't have a Reinforcing Pylon. Yeah, he's taking a 3rd. So he's moving out, he's going to apply some pressure. He has Blink over his opponent. But he cannot break Classic. Yeah, the Immortal has arrived just in time. Classic, good concave here at his natural. Working on a Forge for +1. So we have both our players kind of taking different routes. Classic, he knows he's behind when it comes to Blink, so he started Immortals. Immortals, they can make up for a Blink deficit. Likewise, he has faster +1, so his Stalkers will be a little bit better upgraded. The big Stasis! Oh my god! Massive Stasis here on the army, and that means that this Immortal is exposed. The Stalkers, they do push in. Yeah, we dive on those Stalkers. 1, 2 of them go down. We go for the Sentries, we go for the Phoenixes. Stasis is about to run out, but we dive on top of the Immortal as well. Big overextension, and it is going to go down. Massive pickoffs. Again, the Stasis may have just won Nightmare this game. As Nightmare, he shuts down so many units almost for free. The Sentries, the Stalkers, the Immortals. Another Immortal has arrived. We can one-shot. We can one-shot Stalkers. Oh my god. Once again, the Stasis. Trying to lure Classic out into the open. No longer have enough to one-shot Stalkers. Behind this, Nightmare getting further ahead. He's fully saturated at his 3rd base. Ay, ay, ay. Classic coming in, trying to harass, but we are in position. Yeah, the Adepts have been spotted. Do shade into the natural. Probes are going down. But there's no way out for these Adepts. 4 worker kills. Not bad. Not bad at all here from Classic. Meanwhile, Nightmare is reinforcing. So, bearing in mind, Nightmare didn't take his third gas. He's only, didn't take his fourth gas. He's only on 3 gases. So, he's going to be heavily reliant here on charge lots. Zealots are being morphed in. And we have a big timing here coming up with +1 and charge. So, here we go. Nightmare is pushing with a mass amount of army. We may have Immortals, but that's the purpose of these Zealots. Zealots do an amazing job at tanking Immortal shots. Yeah, they're going to be providing a great buffer here for the Stalker army. We're diving on top of the army. No shield battery. GG gets called. The writing was on the wall, and Nightmare will take the series 2-1, taking down a Classic. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Nightmare popping off here tonight. In game 1, he showed off his defensive prowess. He defended and deflected the all-in of Classic, and here in game number 3 it was more of a back and forth. Things got very chaotic, but the big game-winning move for Nightmare was the shade into the main. Remember, he got, I think it was 4 or 5 adepts shaded into the main base of Classic. Classic wasn't able to wall off in time, and with that his economy was crippled. He went down to, I think it was 12 probes. He went down to a very low worker count. He was doing some counter damage across the map, but nowhere near as much as what Nightmare was accomplishing. So again, Classic was crippled economically from the start of the game. He was attempting to recover, and he almost did, but then the second big moment was the stasis trap. The stasis outside of the natural. It caught every single one of his Stalkers, exposed his Immortals, exposed his Phoenixes, and Nightmare just picked Classic apart. GG, well played. Very well done here, as Nightmare will be advancing on to the semifinals. GG. And with that, he's waiting for his next opponent. As I'm trying to find my, okay, we're good. I'm just trying to find myself here. He is going to be waiting for his next opponent. He's waiting for Hero versus Cyan to finish up. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Oh, sorry, I should update the out-of-game score. So again, Nightmare did take down Classic. There he is. Nightmare is waiting in the semifinals. Hero versus Cyan. Oh, Cyan took down Holden, went to the ace match, went all the way to game number 3. But we have Cyan versus Hero in that second round. That is being casted by Dave Testa. The lobby was just provided to us, but again, Dave Testa is going to be covering that series. And I believe Chicken Man is following Firefly into a series against Gumiho. So basically, there are 3 casters tonight. We casted Classic versus Nightmare. Dave was on Cyan Holden into Hero. Chicken Man was on Firefly versus Demo into Gumiho. So those are the matches that are currently ongoing. Dave Testa is going to be covering Hero Cyan and leading into the semifinals. No one is casting Dark versus Coffee. So that's where my eyes are at the moment. As Nightmare is just chilling in the semis, we may hop over and cover Dark Coffee just so everything gets casted, and just so we can provide replays to all of our KSL patrons. That's our current plan, I should say. But regardless, GG, well played, very well done here by Nightmare. Again, Nightmare, he's beaten Classic before, he's beaten Hero before. In PvPs, he does thrive. I spoke about this earlier. I do think that Nightmare, his weakest matchup is Protoss versus Zerg. I do think his PvZ is where he struggles the most, but Nightmare has world-class Protoss versus Protoss and Protoss versus Terran. We've seen Nightmare beat Bjorn, we've seen him beat Gumiho, we've seen him beat Cure, we've seen him have his way with kind of the best of the best that Terran has to offer. So yeah, Nightmare is just really his PvZ matchup that has been holding him a little bit back here when it comes to really getting as much notoriety as Classic and Hero. I do think that Classic and Hero have better PvZ than Nightmare. But regardless, GG, really well done, really good performance. And just trying to get a read on what's happening. Just trying to get a read here as we are setting things up. Oh, Chicken Man's going for Dark and Coffee because give me. Oh, okay. Fair enough. That was a fast series. Thank you for letting us know. But yeah, I guess Gumiho versus Firefly already concluded. Still not updated on the bracket, but that was fast. Oh my god. What the hell happened? What the hell did occur? So I guess we're running out of series. A really quick tournament today. Really quick tournament. That means that there are 2 active series. There's Hero versus Cyan, and then there's Dark versus Coffee. So 2 series going on. And there's 3 casters, so we are going to be doubling up. We will be doubling up a little bit here. I was just slipping into some DMs, and it looks like Coffee versus Dark still hasn't started. So it's a fresh series. It is going to be a fresh best of 3. There we go. Just making sure everything is ready for it. And yeah, I hope everyone has been enjoying themselves as well. When it comes to the players that we are missing, just to quickly go over the bracket, it is a little bit unfortunate. I just realized that we're missing. We have Gumiho, I guess. I was going to say that we are missing Cure. Cure is usually here, but maybe a little bit too early for that. As we are missing Cure, we're missing Solar isn't here, Shin as well. But thankfully we have plenty of representation, right? We have Gumiho waving that Terran flag. We still have plenty of Protoss in the upper half, and we have Dark as the lone Zerg player. That's usually how things go here in KSL. Solar and Shin and DRG, they're a little bit less consistent with their signups. Dark is here every week. He's here every single week, Bobby. For some KSL action. And I think it was oh, I just realized this is the first KSL of the year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. The first KSL of 2024. And I think Chicken Man posted some stats. Did post stats that Hero was the player that won the most KSLs in 2023. I think he won 17. Hero won 17 KSLs, so he was our KSL champion of 2023, and we'll see who it's going to be in 2024. Again, Dark competing as much as he can while he can. I do know that Dark's military service is on the horizon. It's a little bit ambiguous as to when his service is going to be, but it's you know, at soon TM. Soon TM when that does come around. So we're getting as much Dark as we can while we can. As here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione, we have the red Zerga player representing Dragon KZ Gaming. DKZ, it is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player from the land of China representing Team Little Fairy. It is Coffee. Coffee is crazy good. Coffee is, yeah, he's really good. It's really impressive to see him thriving. Coffee, I would say, is the second best Terran player in China, but second best to Oliveira. I mean, it's Oliveira. Like, he's the world champion the reigning world champion for a reason. But again, Coffee has been looking damn strong this year. To wind it back, if you remember, Coffee retired. Coffee retired at the start of the year, and I was afraid that that was going to be the end of Coffee, that we just wouldn't see him anymore. That was when he left IG. He left Invictus Gaming towards the beginning of 2023, and yeah, he stepped away from the game. He stepped away from StarCraft for a couple of months, and then I remember, I think he left for like 2 months. I want to say like there was like a 2-month period where he had retired, and then he came back. Then suddenly he showed up in a Kung Fu Cup. He joined Team Little Fairy, so he got a little bit more support. And yeah, Coffee, he's been more active ever since, and that's when he went for his insane ESL Masters summer run, where Coffee got 2nd place. He got second place in the ESL Master Summer, second only to Oliveira, if I recall correctly. And even in the winter season, I think he got top 4. I think CranKy got top 4, falling to Firefly and the other Chinese Protoss players who have been on the rise recently. But yeah, basically, when it came to CranKy's return, when it came to his joining of Little Fairy, like, he has been improving quite a lot, and it's been really cool to see him. Really cool to see him thrive. Especially after thinking that we were not going to see him anymore. So, really nice to see. As CranKy is going to be getting across the map. Did go for a standard opener here against Dark. He's going to be dancing with these lings. Poking away at those workers. Dark going to be going for a third hatchery. So it's going to be a hatch gas pull out of Dark into a third base. Standard opener from our Zerg player. Oh. As we do force in 2 of those spore crawlers. Not getting a drone kill yet, but some nice disruption of the mining. Behind this, third CC. It's going to be a third CC before Starport. Very economic opener here from CranKy. I know that CranKy is known for his quote-unquote CranKy builds, like some really quirky and inventive play and like exploratory play. But for now, standard. He's playing standard, going for a Starport before third CC. Oh, sorry, after third CC. So 3cc Starport play. If we get a Tech Lab here, we could be going into Banshees. We could go for an add-on swap. Speaking of, there is that Tech Lab on the way for CranKy, so it's looking to be a Banshee-based opener. We'll see. Which would be quite smart against Dark. Dark is known for his Roach play, and Banshee openers are just very safe against Roaches overall. As Reaper is forced out. Meanwhile, back at home, we do go for the add-on swap, and we are going for those Banshees. So far from CranKy, everything is by the book. It's a very meta play. Very standard for a reason, though. It's really solid. Able to get into a longer game here on Alkyone. There it is. We're going to be investing into Cloak. Into said Banshees. And the Hellions are going to be moving out. They almost catch a drone, but a quick Evo chamber. The workers are saved. Quick moves there out of Dark. Able to hold on to his position. Behind this, he's just been happily droning, producing queens, just reacting and responding to what CranKy has brought to the table. Nice snipe on the tumor. Meanwhile, we have our tech of choice. It's going to be a lair first. So very safe play here out of Dark. Going for a lair first. Should be leading into eventually a Baneling Nest in a couple of seconds once the lair is... Oh, never mind! No Baneling Nest. Roaches. And, I mean, that's Dark. We even just spoke about it, how I do think that's really wise to go for a Banshee opener against Dark because he's so accustomed to playing Roaches. Roach is like the spirit animal of Dark. And again, with Banshees, we're going to be able to harass across the map and maintain our map control as well. As long as we don't lose the Banshees. Meanwhile, CranKy is still in the dark. He still hasn't recognized that it is in fact going to be Roaches. Like, we can make the assumption, sure, but Dark, he can play Ling Bane. More like, he can go Ling Bane into Ultra. That's another really popular build from Dark, especially on larger maps. He can play Muta. So CranKy still has to piece it together. As there's a 1-1 on the way. Roaches are amassing. Banshees are finally going to be moving out across the map. With this, they can get some economic damage, and they can also scout. That's probably what's more important. As they dive on the fourth base, and we do force a cancel. Aliens threatening on the left-hand side. I love that CranKy isn't diving. Like, he's been very tentative with these Hellions. Hasn't just aped into a mineral line or anything like that. Roach Warren has been spotted, has been confirmed. CranKy is now aware of what Dark is up to. And Dark is cutting workers at 65. So this is basically a 3-base economy from Dark, and he is producing nothing but Roaches. He is getting ready for a push. Oh, the Hellions, speaking of not diving, he's going in! He is stopped by those lings. Roaches have arrived, and this is not worth it here for CranKy. Not yet! Oh, gets into the mineral line. He's going to get a couple of drones. Oh, 3 workers. 3 workers go down. Not too sure that was really worth it in the end. We do cancel the 4th base for a second time. But the Roaches, we are moving out. How many Roaches do we have? Not too many. 14 Roaches. So we're going to be moving out. We're going to be posturing but I don't think we have enough to commit. We'll see. Banshees, they get 6 workers across the map. Marines are in position. Roaches, they can't quite push in. Upgrades are still not done. There's a tank in position. A big tank shot going to be going off. And Dark respects it. Does have to pull back. Still trying to get his 4th base. Coffee doing a great job here at denying the 4th over and over again. And we're getting even more drones. It was 6 workers earlier. Now another 3. 9 in total. Very nicely done. And a bold move here out of Coffee. In the face of all these roaches, going for a drop. Roaches are pulling back. And Coffee calls the bluff of Dark. Covenant in his tanks. Dark is back home though. He has a handful of roaches in position. We pick up 1. Coffee is being forced back. Behind this, working on +2. +1 melee is on the way. So Dark, he wants to get out of roaches into Ling Bane. Bane's speed is on the way. So Dark, he will have roaches to support his army. He will have Ravagers specifically to support his army. But mainly reliant on Ling Bane. The problem is, because of his opener, the Ling Bane upgrades are going to be a little bit disjointed and a little bit behind. Coffee is being active, clearing up a lot of this creep. 4th base finally up and running here for Dark. It is a very late 4th, but finally it has arrived. Coffee dipping into the main, catching some overlords, potentially. Up. He doesn't get the overlord. Trading with the roaches though. This one gets 2 roaches. Behind this, another double drop on left hand side. We're pushing on in. Catching some tumors, catching an overlord. Nothing major, but a couple of good trades here and there. And here we go, the main push. This entire time, Coffee has been harassing with Marines, but now we're pushing with tanks. We have 4 tanks in total. We have 1, 1, 2, 2, still halfway down the miles. Ooh. Does graze the army. We can see Dark trying to slow down this force, trying to force the siege. Dark rotating around. Amassing Lings. No Banelings. No Banelings here from Dark. He's going to try to collapse on this army. Ugh. Doesn't get the tanks though. Tanks going to be sieging. They are bunched up. Files a takedown in medevac. Marines are stimming on forward as well. Tanks doing a lot of damage here in the back line. But we're running out of Marines. Coffee running out of steam here. The tanks, they do get biled. And we're forcing this back. Can we get on top of the final 2 tanks? Yeah, we can. Ooh. The biles will shut them down. Again, unfortunate that both sets of tanks were right next to each other, so very efficient biles out of Dark. Does clean that up, does survive, and what's important is that Dark's economy was untouched. I mean, earlier, yes, the Banshees were wreaking havoc, and it was really good damage done by those Banshees. That's why that push was so close. But Dark, he maintains his economic position. 4th base is up, 5th base is on the way. Coffee sees it. And Coffee was so committed to that attack. Now he's licking his wounds. 4th CC on the way. Now he has to be active once again with only Marines and medevacs. We'll come across some of these roaches. Come across some of them. See, it's going to be forced back. Behind this, the hive is done. We have 3 upgrades on the way, +3 carapace. Liberator gets turned away. Adrenal in production. And with this, we can try and go into Ultras, Vipers, of course. It's going to be the next big thing for Dark. Speaking of Vipers, they're out. We have 2 Vipers here at the 4th. Gathering up their energy. And Dark has maxed out. And now it's going to be on Coffee to defend. Now, we are on Alkione. This is a very defendable map on 4 bases. Sensor tower is up. Oh, Dark going to be knocking down these rocks. Coffee does see. He does have eyes on this. Drop going to be pulling away the attention of Dark. Yeah, sensor towers are finishing up. This will help Coffee make sure he's in position for the move out, for the push. But again, because Dark is maxed out, he is willing to trade in efficiently. He's diving on the... Oh, I'm diving the army. There's still a lot of roaches. So, Dark may be maxed out, but he has inflated supply. He has 25 roaches. Oh my god. So very supply inefficient. So Dark's army looks larger than it really is. Which means he has to be very careful with how he trades. As I'm sure he wants to refine his army. There's that Ultra Cavern that we spoke about. Ultras on the horizon. Kofi going for a triple drop on the right-hand side. So far, going to be moving out on the left. Oh. Dark. Just as we move out, he does catch the army. Tanks are unsieged. Marines caught out of position 1. 2 tanks go down. Now we can push towards that base. Dark going to be forced back at the same time the triple drop comes in. Kofi snipes a hatchery. Big pickoff. The base goes down, and Dark, he got 2 tanks, yes, but not worth it. Not worth losing an entire base and a mineral line. Kofi goes to the dive. Gets what? 3 fort workers. 3 drones go down. Kofi pushing on the left. This push is a little bit worrisome because there's very little to protect the tanks. A lot of tanks, not much else. We go for the drop into the main. The drop gets cleaned up. Kofi maybe throwing away a little bit too much. He is getting in position. He needs to reinforce. Vipers are on the way, and they're the blinding clouds. We cover so many tanks, and Kofi is looking like a big overextension. Every single tank goes down. That was what? 6, 7, 8 tanks? Oh my god. The tank count was reset. Kofi, he had momentum. He was doing well, but did lose a little bit too much, and now he has that much less to defend. Again, imagine this 4th base or this 5th base with a tank line, but it's no longer there. The base is being broken, and Dark looking to overwhelm. Yeah, Vipers are coming in. They don't have that much energy, but they can a blinding cloud. But they can yoink. Tanks are abducted, Baileys are rolling in, and this base has been broken. We do get into the mineral line, and every single worker going to be going down. The planetary as well. And GG gets called. Kofi was broken, and Dark takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played, and yeah, with that, congratulations. Dark does take the first game, but a big shout out to Kofi because that was pretty back and forth. I would say that leading up to that final fight where Kofi did overextend and he lost all of his tanks, leading up to that, he was doing pretty well. He was doing a great job at crippling the economy of Dark, or keeping his economy in check, sniping bases, going for drop play, clearing up creep. I do think that move out with all those tanks, though, was a little bit adventurous, a little bit overeager, specifically because there was so little to protect those tanks. We saw how vulnerable they were, and Dark, he just collapsed on that position. With the death of all those tanks, that was the death of Kofi in that game. But up until that point, was doing really well, surprisingly well. So not a bad game out of Kofi, but we'll see if he can tighten things up here as we get into game number 2. Here we go. I feel like Rogue went to the military right around when KSL started. I feel like it would have brought some great games. It would have been really cool to see Rogue compete in these weeklies. Would he have, though? That's the question. It's a real question, because Rogue was never really active in the online weeklies. Like Rogue, he was here during ESL Open Cup Asia, and very rarely did he play in ESL Open Cup Asia. He did, don't get me wrong, like we casted Rogue, like win ESL Open Cups, but it's like once a month maybe, or like once every couple of months Rogue would show up. It was never his priority. Kind of like very similar to Maru, actually, where like Maru's played like in 2 KSLs, but like I don't think Maru's ever played in an ESL Open Cup. Este Maru. But here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Kai Z Gaming, the KZ, leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Terran, the blue Terran player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Kofi. I think Rogue alongside Zest are It's Rogue, Zest, Trap as well, are some of the next, like, generation or the next set of players that people are waiting to come out of the military and to wait and see if they do come back to the game and if they do come back to competing. There's a lot of them. But again, I think Trap, Zest, and Rogue are maybe the big ones. Deer, I think, went around the same time, but I don't know if Deer is going to be wanting to come back. Who else? Who else am I missing? There's got to be some more Protoss players. I know Patience is another one. We need like a countdown timer. We need we need that added to Wikipedia, where like if they're in the military, we have like a countdown timer under their name for like when they get released. That's all we need. Get on that. Here we go. Behind this, we do have a standard opener, add a coffee. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Just going to be a Rax expand into that factory. Likewise, Reaper does get across the map. Be trading with those Lings. We saw in the previous game that Dark did a great job at minimizing his losses, and should be doing the same here as one Ling goes down. Only a Ling. That might sound crazy, but it's a heck of an idea. I mean, it sounds useful. Like, I feel like people would love that, right? Like, just to have like a list of players and their countdown timers. Like, that sounds pretty hype. I'm sure it'll be useful as well, because you always get people asking, right? There's always people like, yo, when does Zest come out? When does Trap come out? Like, when does Rogue come out? Like, people want to know. So we have a Reaper dipping into the natural. Up. But it looks like a bit of an overextension. The Reaper is gonna go down. Ay, ay, ay. Not quite worth it there for Coffee. He got 2 Ling kills, but the Reaper does fall. Coffee was able to get some additional scouting information, but did end up losing that Reaper in the end. Behind this, getting into his own opener. Ooh, something very similar, actually. Yeah. It is 3 CC before Starport into Banshee. Same build as Game 1. The exact same build here from Coffee. And we'll see if he can have as much success, as Dark is going to be making a massive amount of Lings. 12 Lings on the way. The Hellions, they do get into the mineral line. Oh! Yeah, and a very bold move here from Coffee, going straight for the dive. Gets 3 drone kills. 3 workers for 2 Hellions. It's an okay trade, so it's a bit of a give and take. The downside of throwing away your Hellions early on means you have that much less map control in the mid game. That's the scary thing here. You don't want to bleed out too many Hellions. If you do, then the creep will get out of hand. It will get out of control, and Dark can do whatever he wants. So Coffee has to be very careful with how and when he dives. Yeah, you can see Dark being that much more adventurous. Yeah, there's only 2 Hellions. This should be 4 Hellions instead, and because there's only 2, Dark can chase. He can chase this down. He can be more aggressive. Okay, Coffee has to be very careful here. He does reinforce with 2 more Hellions. Oof. Okay, now he should hold. that was a scary moment. Again, if Coffee lost 2 more Hellions, then the other 2 would be exposed, and then they could go down, and things would very quickly escalate and snowball out of control. So, thankfully, does save them. Behind this, getting into his own follow-up, it is going to be Bio. 3-1-1 setup. Banshees are moving out. And despite a bit of a shaky start, we're easing into the mid-game. We get a couple of hits in on the Queen. Banshees do arrive. They go straight for that 4th base. And just like the last game, we force a cancel. I see down here, by Coffee. Gets a cancel on the 4th. Diving into the main. This time we do have a double lever chamber already being set up. And this time Dark is not going roaches. We're going into Ling Bane. We have double lever chambers. Bathing Nest is done. Should be getting into bathing speed. And 1-1. So Dark taking a very different approach this time. Aliens, they do clean up a lot of creep. A lot of creep does go down. Dark going to be double expanding. Because his 4th was cancelled, we do need to double expand 4th and a 5th base. Banshees, they come in from behind. They got 5 worker kills. Oh my god. Remember, last game we killed 9. We got 6 drones. Oh, 4 a Banshee. A little bit overzealous there from Coffee, losing a Banshee. Not a bad trade overall, but not as good as game 1. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Gets a queen. Very nicely done. Gets a 7th worker, potentially an 8th. This Coffee is being forced back. At the same time, Dark has map control. It looks to threaten a dive into the 3rd base. Coffee's army has been revealed. Oh, Dark, he wants a Marines. He does rotate over, looking for those Marines, but we have our tanks. We are in position. Very nice positioning here from Coffee. Dark is forced back. 5th base has been spotted. Banshee's still here in the top left. And now we are committed to our push here. The Bailings are exposed. And Coffee, if he catches these Bailings, he could try to break the 4th. And he will. Bailings, they are denied. Coffee pushing right towards the 4th base. And Dark, he knows he cannot hold on to it. He has to back off. At the same time, Hellbat's diving on top of the 5th. Dark, he's in a bit of trouble. Hatchery's going to be going down. Dark, instead, he goes for a big counter-attack. I mean, if he can't defend, then attack. And he will deny mining here at the 3rd. A lot of SCV is going to be going down. The hatchery does fall. And Coffee can keep pushing. Lings are being forced back. Oh, Coffee is aware that the Lings are returning back home. Coffee, no fear, doesn't turn around. And maybe we should have. As Starkey gets a full surround here, shuts down the tanks. Banshee goes down in the main, a double drop as well. It is going to be chased back. We have the token Swarm Host. Hello. The Swarm Host has arrived. Only one. As Dark is stabilizing, he lost a base, but he saved all of his drones. He still has a 4th base up and running. A 5th soon to be on the way. And Coffee did lose his tanks. That is what's scary here. Coffee's going for a double jump. He's going to be forced back. Does have another active drop towards the north, catching some Lings. So far, Coffee doing a great job here at denying the 5th hatchery. Oh. Dark stuck on 4 bases. Working on 2-2. Hive is done. Adrenal is on the way. And Coffee is licking his wounds. After losing his tanks, he's chilling back at home, building up his tank count. Swarm Host needs a name at this point. True. He makes an appearance every now and then. We like him. Wait, do we still have him? We do. There he is. Oh my god, he's safe. As Lee May gets caught out here on the other side of the map. Likewise, so does the drop. Dark being a little bit cheeky there. Gets spotted. Big scan there from Coffee. Dark attempting to go for a counterattack, but Coffee is not slowing down. He has the supply lead. Yeah, the base is going to be falling. Dark in a lot of trouble. Maybe lost too many Bailings too quickly. This Coffee is pushing Dark, ignoring it. It's going for a counterattack, but there's plenty of reinforcements back at home. Dark setting up a surround. And he will come in from behind. Gets on top of the tanks. Bailings crash in as well. And Dark, does he have enough? It looks like he should barely have enough to clean up the tanks. It's going to be close, though. A close trade here. Dark will shut this down. But here come the reinforcements. Here come more Marines. Oh, good. Bailings, they will connect. Coffee barely being cleaned up. The medevacs do survive, but Dark, he's in a lot of trouble. He's down to 3 bases. He's down to 70 workers. Desperately needs a 4th base. Desperately needs larva. We have ultras on the way. The drones are saved. Dark trying to collapse on top of these tanks. Does almost get one. And Dark, he's holding on for dear life at this point. Desperately trying to survive. Again, these counterattacks, these run-bys from Dark just haven't been worth it. Just catching a couple of units here and there. Oh. Does come across a couple of workers. Again, he's trying to force back the attention of Coffee. So we got 7 SCV kills, 8 SCV kills. But Coffee has, again, he's even in bases. He has an economic lead. Good tank positioning. Reinforcements are on the way. Dark trying to catch him. Let's get a couple of links. Ultra's on the way. Another big link counterattack. We're actually getting damage done this time. SCVs are falling. Another 8 workers. Yeah, we get a kill on the planetary. The planetary does go down. A big overextension from the Ultra. And both players are hurting. But Dark, he's finally getting damage done here. Snowballing out of control. He's getting into the 3rd. Coffee has to turn around. He's so overstimmed. Dark, he's breaking into the natural as well. Breaking into the 3rd base. We have Ultra set of fan. We have Transfuse. Yeah, back at home, Dark is safe and sound. And he's taking down another mineral line. Coffee did so well. The Ultra gets in. The SCVs, there's no way out. They all get swiped to death here by the Ultras. Coffee was so close. He was doing so well. GG gets called. And Dark will take the series 2-0 in a very scrappy game. Takes down Coffee. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Dark will take it. Congratulations here. Coffee was ahead. I want to emphasize this. Like, oh my god, look at the graph. Coffee's the blue line, by the way. This is the army graph. This is when Dark lost his Bailings and when he lost his 4th. He lost his southern 4th base. Like, Dark traded so badly. This is also when Dark went for a Ling counterattack and a Ling run by, and he lost his Lings and he didn't achieve anything with it. Like, Dark was dead in the water at this point. Coffee having over double the army supply, and the constant run-bys from Dark eventually got damage done. Eventually, he was able to cripple the economy, kill the planetary, catch reinforcements. It did pay off. Just barely, though. That was uncomfortably close. GG, well played. Congratulations, Dark will take it, but a shout out to Coffee. Because it wasn't just in game number 2, but even in game 1, Coffee wasn't looking too bad. Like, Coffee at times was ahead in both games. And Dark, doing Dark things, was able to bring it back and claw his way back in and have some really good moments. And eventually win it, of course. But again, I guess I just want to emphasize that the skill gap between these two players isn't as large as other people might think. I think on paper, Coffee is overshadowed, right? He's overshadowed by not just Oliveira, but all the Korean Terrans and all the big name Terrans out there. So it can be hard to stand out sometimes, but GG. Good performance. Good performance out of Coffee, but congratulations to Dark for taking that series. And with that, we have our semifinals getting ready for us. Here we go. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We have plenty going on. And we will soon have our next series. So I'm just setting things up. But it looks like we have both semifinals ready. Both semis are ready. The upper semifinal is going to be a PvP between Nightmare and Hero. To quickly go over though, Hero did 2-0 Cyan. He 2-0'd Cyan, Hero up against Nightmare in a PvP. Meanwhile, Gumiho took down Firefly 2-0. And up next is going to be Dark versus Gumiho. So we will be following this series into the semis, and then we'll be following that series into the grand finals. That is where we are headed. And because it's the semifinals, predictions in the chat will soon be open. They will soon be open. I just need a moment to set it up. we go. So you can get your Gamba on, papi. Your Gamba. Let's see. Semi-finals. Best of 3. Dark versus Gumiho. Beautiful. So Vitas are currently underway. When we have a lobby, I will be posting those predictions. Why does Dark use those ultras? They're the Brood War ultras. Brood War. I do think that they look kind of weird. It looks weird just because in Brood War it looks fine, but in StarCraft 2 they look very thin. They look malnourished, papi. Oh, they're so thin. But I can understand the nostalgia, especially if you have a little love for the Brood War skins. I think the best Brood War skin in StarCraft 2 is maybe the SCV. I think that looks really good. But I'm not fond of some of the other Brood War skins. I don't think they look amazing in StarCraft 2. Yeah, I think maybe the Nexus, maybe the Brood War Nexus is like kind of. I'm not fond of the Brood War Hatchery. The Brood War Hatchery skin, it looks, yeah, not specifically. I think I don't like the Hive. I think the Hatchery is a little bit better than the Lair and the Hive, but yeah, I don't know. It looks doesn't gel with my eyes. In StarCraft 2, in Brood War it's fine, but StarCraft it can look a little bit jarring. Dark is wild at coming back from behind. Is wild. He just needs like some pressure on him, you know. Sometimes he needs that motivation. Este Night Phoenix, quack, papi, quack. I saw Night Phoenix. I saw you did really well in the New Year Cup. I saw you did really well in the New Year Cup, and we will be casting. We will be casting the replays in a couple of days. Brood War CC is OP. Is it an orbital? Is it a planetary? Who knows? It's awful. It's awful. Oh god. That's maybe the worst skin in the game. The classic, the quote unquote classic planetary skin, where you have these like thin little cannons on top of the planetary that you can barely see. Shaking my head. But here we go. It looks like our vetoes are done, and we're loading into game number 1. Game number 1 of this semifinals match. And if you're in the chat, predictions will be open. You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes upon hearing this message to place your bets on who you believe is going to advance on to the grand finals. Good luck. Best of luck. Is spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Dragon Kai Z Gaming, DKZ. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing his new team Cloud9. It is Gumiho. We go. Again, Gumiho, one of the more experimental, one of the more unique Terran players out there in the world, actually, where he comes up with his own builds and he comes up with his own playstyles. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You know, that's and that's also why we love and appreciate Gumiho. You know, he can come out with something crazy like a proxy 2-port BC, and it can just come out of left field and shut down the Protoss, or it can fall on its face. There's there's the two extremes. There's very little in between. But he's an amazing player nonetheless. Again, he is this year's or 2023's ESL Masters Summer runner-up. Gumiho got second place only to Serral in DreamHack Young Shipping. And we'll see what direction he takes us in. Already, a pretty interesting opener. So Gumiho is going for a Rax Expand, true, but he's going Marine first. He is skipping his Reaper. Skipping his Reaper, and he's skipping his SCV Scout. This is crazy, by the way. This is fine against a player like Solar. Like, I could 100% see this working against Solar, against several, but this is so risky because Dark has been known to go gas first, has been known to go pool first, 12 pools as well in DBT. Like, Dark can be a very aggressive player. Now, to be fair, we are on Alcyone. You know, it is a large map. The idea of Dark going for an aggressive opener is very small, right? It's not really likely that that would happen. So it is a calculated decision here, but a risky one nonetheless. As the Overlord is going to be hunted down. Rax going to be able to float over and shut that down. Dark back at home going for his third hatchery. He's fully aware that there's no Reaper, which means Dark can skip additional lings. Does have 6 lings to begin with, is moving out with them, is making use of them. But he shouldn't be able to achieve too much. Behind this, Gumiho going for a straight up 1-1-1. A very aggressive opener here. He's delaying his third CC by quite a lot in favor of the starport, which means we could be going for an early Banshee push. We could be going for a Hellbat push instead. We have options. Tech Lab is done. Do we go for an add-on swap? We do not. Not yet. So with this, we can go for a fast stim. We can go for a reactor as well. There's no upgrade on the way, so it looks like we may go for Banshees. I'm curious if we do add-on swap, and there we go. So we are rushing into Banshees. They are going to be on the way. It's going to be Banshees and Hellions into a delayed third CC. It's not a 2-base all-in, but a very late third. Again, a very aggressive opener. Meanwhile, Dark did amass Lings, and he's going for a bit of a dive. He's going for the Hellions. Hellions, they do pull back in time. The wall is up. Dark won't find too much damage here. At least he's trying to. There we go, trying to get us around. Good positioning here in the mineral line. The SCVs on hold position as well, but the Marines, they go down. The Hellions as well. We do break through. We shut down the natural base, and there is nothing to defend. Because of the add-on swap, no Marines. There's no Marines here on the high ground. No Hellions either. Gumiho in a lot of trouble, losing full control of his natural. Banshee will hold, but the Banshee is forced to reveal itself. We scout the researching tech lab. No mining whatsoever here at the natural. Gumiho punished for his build. Punished so hard. Again, Gumiho was working on add-ons, working on that next step. Behind this, Dark is droning. He's saturating his third. Spores are getting up and running. Queens are getting in between the bases. Now, there is a lot of potential with these Banshees, if only they got by unscouted. Dark, he's ready for it. With his Queens and his Spores. We even have a backup Spore here in between the bases as well, just to help cover these transferring workers. So, after the early game, Dark is in a commanding position. It isn't just because Dark was able to kill all those workers and deny mining, it's also the fact on top of that, that it was a delayed third base. So, Gumiho, he already had a delayed economy, and now it's even more so. Dark coming in for a counterattack. I'm sorry, Gumiho coming in for a counterattack with his Banshees. Does get a tumor. Does get a drone. Good pickoffs. Does get a worker. Meanwhile, behind this, Lair is on the way. Bathing Nest, Evo Chamber for +1. Again, Dark looking very comfortable here. And the pressure, the onus is on Gumiho to make some magic happen. He's getting up to a 5-rack setup. 5 racks is on 3 bases. Everything looking pretty standard here from Gumiho. He's just building himself up here on these 3 bases. Meanwhile, Dark has a lot of freedom because he's, of course, in position and ready for those Banshees. Queens amassing, going to be droning. Dark can be greedy at this point. Just because Gumiho can't really be active anytime soon. He's got a couple of units, but not too many. Doesn't have any medevacs yet either. The only thing that he has out on the map is these Banshees. Barely has any Hellions either. Just because they went down in the defense earlier. And here we go. This is a risky maneuver. Very risky here. There's no medevacs to support this army. We're moving out with 2 tanks. We're moving out with Marines. We have Banshees to support. But because there's no because there's no medevacs here, there's no support for this army and there's no way to evacuate. Medevacs are now boosting out. Good positioning here with the tanks. We get behind the gas geyser. Marines are coming forward. The Spore is going to be focused down. There's no detection here, by the way. There we go. Overseer does come in. 2 workers fall. We can see Gumiho trying to reinforce. The Banshees are being focused down. They're the Marines. They run into the Ling Bane. And here we go. Dark going to collapse on this army. Coming in from behind. We have Queens from the front. Ling Bane from behind. And we do clean this up. 4 drones go down. But that was not worth it for Gumiho. He lost his Banshees and his tanks. 1 Banshee survived. The medevacs, they boost back. But again, not a worthwhile trade for Gumiho. What I will say, though, is that worker-wise, he's recovering. He's on 67 workers. Dark did cut drone production earlier on. As Gumiho is moving out with his 2nd army. With his 2nd push. Dark amassing more Ling Bane. Hatchery under fire from this Banshee. We do go for the dive. We force a hot pickup. Gumiho lifts up and goes for a drop into the main. Oh my god. No fear. No fear from Gumiho, but we are in position. The drop is deflected. Meanwhile, the Banshee went down. Dark, he's getting his 5th. See Gumiho just trying to make use of the terrain here, trying to gain whatever value he can. We're moving out with the 2nd army. He has spotted this hatchery, and there isn't really much Ling Bane to defend. We could force a cancel, or even a kill. There is potential. There's potential with these Marines, but Dark, he's aware he's getting in position. He's ready for a counterattack. Marines have been revealed. The Lings, they do respond. And there's no medevac here. There's no medevac. The Marines are going to be shut down. This was a really risky maneuver out of Gumiho, and it does not pay off. Every Marine goes down. And with that, Dark, he can go for a counterattack. He can delay the 4th. And in the midst of all this, Dark has teched up into a hive. We have the Ultra Cabin on the way, Adrenal Glands, soon to be 3-3. Vipers are in production. Dark is looking to max out. Gumiho did leave his tank behind. Looking a little bit exposed there. Yeah, Dark, he does come across it. Tank will fall. A good pick off here from Dark. The rocks are knocked down. Now, what does Gumiho have with his main army? He has 0 tanks. He has 4 Widow Mines, which I think are back at home. Okay, there we go. 2 Widow Mines for the main army. Now 1. 1 Widow Mine here. Dark trying to get a good surround here. Trying to get a good engage. Oh, the mines gets baited out. Yeah, we just collapse on this. Gumiho, he's been on the back foot for quite some time here, going for the power bombs on the medevacs. Big power bombs here. With this, Dark can keep pushing. We do have some Widow Mines in position. Oh! Oh god. Decent Bailey connections. Dark is going to be retreating. Now, because of how aggressive Gumiho has been, there's not actually a lot of creep. Like, the creep spread is lacking here for Dark. That is something going Gumiho's way. On top of that, because we're on Alkione, it's a very large map. It's very large, very long rush distance by ground. So even if Dark has been trading better here on his side, he hasn't had enough momentum to go for a big counterattack. So Gumiho, he's successfully on 4 bases. He's getting a 5th base, the gold. I would say that economically, Gumiho's in a really good position, but maybe I spoke too soon, because here come the Baileys. Here come the Bailings, the SCVs. They will escape. They will escape, but the planetary does go down. At the same time, Gumiho pushing on the southern side. He will cancel that gold. Now, at least Gumiho did save his workers. Marauders are getting caught out. Gumiho pushing. We're getting to the mineral line. The SCVs. We saved them initially, but 18 workers do go down. Gumiho going to be pushing here on the southern side. A lot of Marauders. Gumiho is breaking through, but we have even more Bailings on the way. And again, Gumiho's economy, it has been crippled. It just was not enough at home to defend. Oh my god. Dark. What are we doing? Dark borderline dancing on the army. Oh my god. Does take down all the workers. I'm sure aware of how ahead he is. Ultras have arrived. Yeah, Dark forcing Gumiho back. I'm shaking my head. Ay. Initially, it looked like Dark was like trying to force Gumiho to kill the Bailings, like on his own army. But yeah, I don't know. Really good position here for Gumiho. The Ultras have arrived. Vipers as well. Big power bombs here on the medevacs, and they're so low. They are so low. As Gumiho is trading as efficiently as possible here, but he will still lose almost every single medevac. Marines are being forced back as well. Ultra is going to fall. Gumiho, he does have this planetary up and running. He does have a good base count. He just needs workers, needs SCVs, needs time to recover. Meanwhile, Dark is still looking quite comfortable. He's on 80 drones. He's triple expanding, even getting a macro hatch. A little bit unnecessary, but you know, why not? Gotta spread that grief. Gumiho helping Dark because that hatchery was mispositioned. It was misplaced. Was off center. Dark is going to be pulling back. There we get that there. Very aesthetic. Now going to be repositioned here where it needs to be. Morling Bane is amassing. Now the downside to what Dark has is he's lacking anti-air, whether it comes to Hydras or Corruptors or Mutas. He has been heavily reliant here on parasitic bombs for anti-air. So Gumiho could potentially pop off with drop play, but we catch submarines. We catch the Marauders. And we're pushing on in. Bailings, they roll into the mineral line. And they do get in. 8 SCVs do go down. Powerbomb as well. Dark overextending a little bit. He does have to back off. Oh, we have borrowed infestors. Getting ready for a juicy fungal. Oh, it's going for it. Big fungals. We catch the army. The Ultras, they collapse on this. GG gets called. An explosive finale to the game as Dark will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. A solid game 1 there out of Dark. From the beginning, Dark was able to get an economic advantage. Remember, he killed 5 SCVs, he denied mining at the natural, forced the lift, and it was a delayed third base out of Gumiho, so... It was a delayed third base out of Gumiho, and with that, Dark was able to be really comfortable early on. There was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure on Gumiho to recover from that moment, and he took a lot of risks. Remember, time and time again, he would move out without medevacs, he would commit to these big pushes, and unfortunately, they would be shut down. They would be cleaned up time and time again, and Dark just gained so much value over the course of that game, and eventually did snowball into a win. GG. And with that, Dark has a lead, but now we're getting ready for our next game. We're getting ready for game 2 on Solaris. Meanwhile, it looks like we have some updates here. The upper semifinals has concluded. Hero took down Nightmare 2-0. Nightmare did an amazing job taking down Classic and causing a bit of an upset there. But Hero is the best Protoss in Korea, and Nightmare unable to flex his PvP prowess against Hero. Nightmare has been eliminated. Hero is waiting for the winner of this series. He's waiting for either Dark or Gumiho. We'll see who it's going to be. See whether it's going to be a Protoss versus Zerg or a Protoss versus Terran. Regardless, you have, of course, Hero waiting in the finals. We go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Solaris, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing CranKy Gaming. DKZ, it is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player representing his new team, Cloud9. The blue Korean Terran, it is Gumiho. We go. Clem is the best Terran in the world right now. Better than Livia. I'm not a Terran. Yes, the answer is yes, Papi. Yes. He is much better. Shaking my head. I mean, even if I was a Terran, of course. Better, Papi, as we're going for a pool first. Now, this is why I mentioned before that it was really risky for Gumiho to skip his SCV Scout and to skip his Reaper in Game 1, because Dark is more than willing to be aggressive in the early game, and this is going to be an interesting one. So, winding it back, Gumiho is going for a 2-Rax opener. It's going to be 2-Rax Reaper from our Korean Terran. Dark is going pool first. Now, with this pool first opener, that means that Dark has faster queens. It means that he could skip his Lings early on and be a little bit greedy. Overall, they're a very safe play, very safe opener out of Dark. And we'll see what Gumiho can accomplish with this. Oh, right, he's the best player. Oh, my apologies. My apologies. Yeah, Clem, he's looking pretty good. He's a pretty good player. We casted Clem last night, and even Clem admitted, and I would echo it, we have been casting a lot of Clem recently, and he has been losing a lot of TVTs. He lost against Ryung, and last night in WTL, he was really happy that Cure got sent out first, because he wasn't feeling confident against Bunny. I do think that Clem's weakest matchup is TVT, but when it comes to the others, I think I would agree that he has the best Terran versus Zerg and Terran versus Protoss in the world. 100%. I think I would agree with that. I was trying to think, I was thinking of, like, my brain was going through Byun's TVZ and Maru's TVZ, and currently I would agree that Clem's is better. Same with the Terran versus Protoss. But I guess in a way it's kind of similar to Serral, where like Serral's weakest matchup is the mirror matchup, and I think I would say the same about Clem's like weakest matchup being the mirror matchup as well. As Dark, with that pool first, is going for a Roach Rush. Here we go. Roaches are going to be pushing across the map. Course, has been spotted by Gumiho. We have a bunker on the way. Oh, I'm not in love with the positioning of this bunker. Okay, so for those that are curious, usually in this position, Byun would throw down the bunker on the other side of the wall. The reason for this is it protects the add-on, but the add-on is exposed. The bunker not protecting it whatsoever, and concussive shell is going to be denied. Yeah, the roaches have arrived. Reapers are coming in from behind. They do threaten those roaches, and yeah, concussive shell is not going to finish here. Not like this. The Reaper is being zoned away from the bunker. And with these Ravagers, we cannot bile away at this wall. Reapers will threaten the Ravagers. Almost knocking one of them down. The depot, the repair is not quite in time. The biles will bring it down. And behind this, Dark is droning. Dark is saturating his bases. Doing a great job here at containing his opponent. Biles once again going to be thrown down. It looks like Gumiho will clean this up eventually. Oh, can we get the final order? We can. The Marauder goes down. Oh my god, the final Reaper as well. Wait, is Dark going to escape with this? Oh god. The Miles. Not connecting. Gumiho will clean up the army, but that was a worthwhile trade for Dark. Looking at the resources lost tab here, Dark, he killed every single Reaper, which means Gumiho cannot harass. He cannot harass across the map. Likewise, Tech Lab went down, Depot as well, and Dark has been happily droning, happily saturating his bases. Dark will be taking an economic lead after the early game. Now behind this, we do have a delayed third base. We have a much faster third racks into a factory, into a delayed third. Gumiho has potential. So basically Gumiho is going to be able to hit a 3 racks timing with Stim. The downside is that he lost a lot of Marines and Stim is delayed because of the delayed add-ons at the natural. So this Stim timing from Gumiho isn't going to be as strong as it otherwise should be. It should be a little bit more potent here, but because of that, Gumiho may just wait for medevacs. That would make sense. We may just wait for medevacs before we're active on the map, which means until medevacs arrive, Dark is free to drone. Now Dark isn't droning. If Dark wanted to, he's double expanding, looks like just for larva, and he could be droning, could be saturating bases, but no, Dark, he's making more Ravagers, more Lings. Dark is going for the kill. He's looking to end this game and advance on to the grand finals. Roach's Lings are getting across the map. Gumiho behind this is still amassing his army, and he's about to finish up with Stim. Stim will be done for this, but is Stim going to be enough on its own? Oh boy. As reactors are going to be going down. File's going to be connecting on on that bunker. So far we're holding. We are holding on. I appreciate that Gumiho is pulling back with his production to make sure he can actually produce. But the Lings, they flood on forward. The bunker is going to fall. Boys are being pulled. Got the Biles. Oh, they connect. And again, Dark, he's just trading too well here. We're going for the Sim. We're going for the dive on these Ravagers, but there are just too many Lings. Every single worker is going to be going down, and Dark, he has broken the natural base. GG gets called. And Dark will take the 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Dark does take the 2-0 here. Again, an unfortunate early defense from Gumiho. When it comes to going for a 2 racks opener and scouting roaches, Bjorn has like the tutorial on like how to defend in that position, and a big part of it is pre-pulling SCVs and getting your bunker on the other side of the wall. It is so important to protect those add-ons, to protect that Tech Lab specifically, to finish up Concussive Shell, and to get into Marauder production. So that was a bit of a haphazard defense out of Gumiho, and it could also be because of the map, because of the speed zones. It takes less time to move out and less time to get across the map as well. But yeah, just based on the building positioning there and the placement and the setup, Gumiho just wasn't able to have as solid of a hold against the first Ravager push, and did fall in the end. Did end up falling. With that, GG. GG, well played. Dark will advance on to the finals, where he's going to be going up against Hero. Let's go. Let us go. It's going to be a best of 5 grand finals between our 2 teammates, between our residents Zerg and Protoss. Mirror matchup is hard. It is. I think it's interesting because, is this applicable to mirror matchups? I was going to say that there are mirror matchup specialists, and it's interesting where that, like, in my brain, that really does stand out. I think in the past, they used to be like, for example, Solar, for a time, had, like, the best Zerg versus Protoss in the world. Or, winding it back, even Cure having the best TVP in the world. But nowadays, I feel like you have like mirror matchup specialists, definitely. Outside of that, it can be hard to have some like to be known for a certain matchup, which is maybe applicable to Clem. I think Clem has maybe the best. I mean, we spoke about it earlier, right? Like he's just all around an amazing player. I'm referring to specifically being good at one matchup. But, yeah, it has been really cool to see Clem's rise over the course of the year. And I'm sure he's going to be having a really good performance in IM Katowice. IM Katowice at the end of the year. Definitely something to look forward to, where all these players come together from all around the world. It's going to be beautiful. It is going to be beautiful. Here we go. Meanwhile, it looks like Dark has asked for a small break. So we're going to be taking a moment here. We're going to be taking a moment to give Dark some time before we get ready for those grand finals and dive into that ZVP. Predictions will soon be open. Predictions will soon be open on how you think this will unfold. We are getting there. So if you're in the chat, you can place your bets on who you think will come out on top. When it comes to Dark versus Hero, historically this year, I mean, I can't say that anymore. I guess throw that. Last year, Hero had, I think it was like a 70% win rate against Dark. Like Hero, more often than not, would come out on top against Dark. Had just really good PvZ. But you know, it's a new year. You know, we wiped the slate clean. You know, it's 0-0 between Dark and Hero. We'll see what kind of tone is set, and we'll see if Dark can fight back. I want to say in their most recent finals, Dark actually won against Hero. I want to say that's the case. Let me just double check. Let me double check. We have the technology. That's a big shout out to Babylings. Oh my god. 20 months. It's been so long. It's been so long. Thanks so much for the support. Hope you have been enjoying yourself. Hope you've been having a good year as well. A good new year. And I wish you the best. Wish you the best in January. I know it's going to be a big month. It's going to be a big month for a lot of us. So best of luck in January. Best of luck. Thank you. Thank you always for the support. Always. But I'm just quickly checking the match history here. Okay. So the last time they faced off was ESL Open Cup Americas, which we did cast. We did cast the finals of ESL Open Cup Americas. This was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, where Dark did take down Hero 3-2 in the finals. Went all the way to the ace match, but Dark did take down Hero most recently. Before that, though, oh my god, this is brutal. Before ESL Open Cup Americas 207, Hero won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 series in a row. Jeez, that's quite a win streak where Hero was looking dominant. Of course, the win streak was broken most recently, and I think that's important to bear in mind, is that the most recent results are the ones that matter most here, as you know, Dark has been able to fight back here against Hero, and again did win the last time they faced off. But I think I should also emphasize it's going to be very close here. Very rarely do we ever get a 3-0, but it has happened before. But I'm expecting a back and forth here between both Hero and Dark, and I'm expecting it to be very chaotic. I always love Hero versus Dark. Like, I think Hero and Dark, they do a bad job at representing ZVP because they're so unique and they're so chaotic as well. Like, you're never gonna see like Cyril and MaxPax or Solar and Showtime or any of these other players really emulate what Hero and Dark bring to the table. It's nonsense, it's chaotic, it's beautiful, it's art. It's it's amazing. So expect a lot of aggressive play, a lot of aggressive styles, some unique builds, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be beautiful. as again, our players are just asking for a break, so we're going to be going on a short break ourselves. Take this moment to get some water, to stretch your legs, hydrate your hydras, stretch your roaches, massage your marines. When we return, we'll have our best of 5, and predictions will be open when we return as well. So we'll see you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that brutal OST, because we have returned with the grand finals of the Korean StarCraft League week number 41. And if you are in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think is going to be this week's champion. Is it going to be the Protoss or the Zerg? Bearing in mind as well, this is our first KSL of the new year. Welcome, everyone. I'm sure 2024 is going to be an amazing year of StarCraft, and we are here to set the stage, to set the tone. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing CranKy Z Gaming. It is Dark, going for a 15-15. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player. Ooh, I just realized we'll have to add a name to the overlay here. One moment. There we go. Bam. In the top right, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss representing CranKy Z Gaming. DKZ. It is Hero. On a barcode. Shaking my head. Promise you, it is going to be Hero here. We're getting into our openers. Dark are going to be going for a 15-15. It is going to be a very safe opener out of Dark. It is a little bit inefficient, but it is a way to get your natural base where you want it to be. Otherwise, I'm sure you're aware, in a standard Zerg versus Protoss matchup, the Zerg player is typically forced to expand elsewhere, at the triangular third location or the linear third location. But with a 15-15, you can get your hatchery up before the probe arrives. So the hatchery is going to be placed, and Dark will get it up and running. Now, the downside here is, one, you, again, are going to be lacking some extra workers. Your gases are going to be late as well. But link speed is not the most important upgrade in this matchup. So Dark is willing to forego that just for a more secure base location. Meanwhile, standard opener out of Hero, we should be seeing our tech of choice. Second pylon was thrown down in between the gases. We could still go for this. We could still go for a Stargate opener. That's what I'm feeling. But we'll see where Hero does commit and what he does throw down. Oh, as we... Okay. I was like, we started Warp Gate, we canceled Warp Gate, and we have the Stargate on the way. I was about to freak out and be like, yo, are we not canceling Warp Gate? Are we going Twilight Council? But we have the cancel. I'm sure Dark did notice it as well. So Stargate is on the horizon. Now, we'll see where Hero goes with this, because Classic has been very in love with and very fond of Void Ray openers and Phoenix openers. That has just been like the bread and butter of Classic, and Hero does mix it in every now and then, but he can also take different twists and turns, and even with Oracle openers, he can be hyper aggressive as well. The Overlord is going to get shut down. Big supply block there for Dark. Aye. Not like this. As the Overlord does fall, and we have our Oracle on the way. So again, just a bit of an overextension there from Dark. Just 1 or 2 seconds too far away from this pillar. And we'll see how hard we commit. Now with this Oracle opener, we should be going to a third base. So it should be triple Oracle into a third. But the transition or the follow-up tech is where my eye is going to be on Hero. Do we go into +1 and Blink? Do we go for Chargelet Archon instead? Do we go for Glaive Adepts? Or do we go for a tech-heavy double Robo style? There is kind of a lot on the table here for Hero. Meanwhile, behind this, ooh, very fast Roach Warren from Dark. 3-minute 40 Roach Warren. Considering the fact that it's a Stargate opener, there's no reason. There's no reason for this Roach Warren to be this early on, unless we wanted to be aggressive. Unless we wanted to go all in. The Oracle dipping in between the aces, and we do get behind the mineral line! Big scout from Hero. He does get eyes on the Roach Warren. And this may change Dark's mind. Dark, he knows he got scouted. And again, there's no reason for the Roach Warren to be this early on, unless we wanted to go for a push. So Hero is aware. Hero should be preparing. Meanwhile, Oracle does get here towards that third base. We do force a cancel on that Spore. Forcing an Evo Chamber. Adepts are on the way. And Dark just denied any kind of mining here at the third base. Queens are coming in, but the Adepts are pushing towards that natural. Do we have any links to defend? We do not. We have 4 links in total. There we go. We're shading into the main base. Lair is on the way. The Roach Warren is done. As you can see, 0 roaches in production. I do think that a big part of this is because Dark got scouted. And we're getting a lot of drones. 4, 5, 6 workers go down. Oh, Dark, 7 drones in total here. Just not reacting in time, not pulling back in time. And this is getting out of hand. The Adepts are still alive. Finally, they're going to be shut down. But they have more than paid for themselves. Behind this, Hero happily just saturating his bases, getting into his Twilight Council. Double Forge, very interesting. Going to be getting into double upgrades. A very heavy gateway composition on the way here from Hero. And Dark is stuck. Yeah, just re-droning. Now, with our Lair, Nidus is on the way. Here we go. We have a Nidus all in from Dark. I'm loving the pivots. I'm loving like the kind of transition or the flow here from Dark. He knows the Roaches got scouted, so he drones, but oh my god, no, not again! Hero, he does scout the Nidus. He sees, he knows. He knows everything at this point. 3 more drones go down, the Queen as well. Hero should be preparing back at home. As he gets 5 more worker kills and escapes with the Oracles. Now, Dark, he knows he got scouted, but we have to commit at this point. Dark, he has lost far too many workers. His economy is in shambles. Dark is all in. Completely all in at this point. Hero has a shield battery at the natural. Immortal production has commenced. We have another shield battery here. 2 shield batteries, sorry. A shield battery and a cannon at the third. Nidus does finish. Dark is committing. Now, Hero, he did not pull his oracles on. He has 2 oracles back at home. He has 1 oracle across the map. Is it going to be enough? Can he strive? Can he hold? The surround! With the Stalkers, they get caught out. Blink isn't done, by the way. A good start for Dark. He shuts down those Stalkers. Nidus finishes on the other side of the wall as well. Hero, he saw the all-in coming, but can he stop it? Lings are being cleaned up. It looks like this Nidus is going to be shut down. At the same time, Lings and Ravagers heading towards that third base. Good target firing. Good target firing at a hero. He focuses down every single Ravager. Boys are being pulled. And Hero's holding. Hero, he holds his natural and he holds his third base. But did I speak too soon because we have more Lings? Lings are flooding in. And we are breaking through the third base. Immortals are being cut off by the Queens. But the Lings are running out. We're running out of Lings. We're running out of steam. Again, Dark is completely all in here. He does catch another Stalker. The Wiles. Ooh, they connect. Big connections in the mineral line. Oh my god. And it looks like Dark is going to break this third base. The Wiles, they connect again for a second time on these Stalkers. Big trades here from Dark. Meanwhile, on top of the ramp, the Nidus has fallen. We have broken the third. And upon shutting down this base, Dark can try to drone from here, but he's still all in. It's still not enough. We have 16 more Lings on the way. Nexus will fall. Dark now going to be focusing here at the natural. We have 3 Immortals. Oh my god, 3 Immortals. This is a hefty army. The Oracle's getting across the map. Picking up drones. I mean, Dark, he already has a crypto economy to begin with. He can't afford to lose any more drones. Gas mining workers going to be going down. We get 10 in total, but the Oracle will fall. Overcharge is popped. Dark still all in. That's a lot of Ravagers. He goes for the surround. He catches an Immortal. A big catch here from Dark. The Artosis pylon goes down. Shield batteries are still barely up and running, and we're diving on top of the Ravagers, and it looks like Hero, does he barely have enough? He's down to 1 Immortal. The Robo's depowered. That's probably the biggest part here. Robo is depowered. No more Immortal production. Lings are coming in. Dark, he's pulling this off. The final Immortal. Oh, he's going to go down. Dark turning water into wine here. He got scouted, but somehow is still getting damage done. Shield batteries are out of energy. We're breaking the natural. Cybercore is going to be falling. But Charge did just finish. As Hero lost every single Immortal. Behind this, Dark throwing down a Hydroden. He's escaping. He's racing back home. And Dark is transitioning. We're droning. Dark is going to be saturating his bases. He's trying to drone as best he can. Can he drone from this position, though? I mean, now that Hero has Blink, now that he has Charge, he can start up a War Prism and push out. Okay, to take stock, Dark, he's down in workers. He has a worse economy at the moment, but he is incorporating Hydras. Hydras are in the mix. We will have anti-air. Meanwhile, Hero is expanding. He's not going for his own all-in. Tech-wise, Hero isn't in a decent position. It's okay. Oh! Stasis will not go up. Tech-wise, we have 1-1 because, remember, we opened up Double Forge. We have Charge, we have Blink. The Immortal count was reset. If we didn't lose those Immortals, then I do think that Hero could kill with this push. But because we're down to a single Immortal, I'm not so sure. This is going to come down to the execution. It's going to be all about the force fields, essentially. How good are the force fields? How good are the Biles? Hero is forcing his way up the ramp. Biles will even connecting with some of those things. Big force fields here on the army. Hero focusing his attention here on the left-hand side. Does catch some Ravagers and some Hydras. Big pickoffs. Big pickoffs from Hero. There's one more stasis behind this. We're running out of Ravagers. How many Ravagers do we have? 2. Uh-oh. 2 Ravagers, and we have plenty of sentries, plenty of force fields. The lack of Ravagers is concerning. We are pushing it forward, diving on the army, and Hero, it looks like he has too much. The boys, they have to be pulled. But the force field's doing a great job of just forcing a choke point. And the Ravager count is reset. The Queens are coming forward. We have a big warp in. Can Dark hold on as he's lost 10 workers in the process? Good juggling out of Hero. Good blinks as the queens are barely falling. Yeah, and Hero, he barely has enough. Shuts down the Hydras, shuts down the Ravagers. And brings down all the queens. Oh, we have reinforcements coming in though. Dark, can we hold? Up. We have 3 Hydras. 2 Hydras left. Reinforcements are coming in. And Dark, he does push Hero back. But here comes a warp in. Never mind. As we get a big warp in of Stalkers. Dark desperately trying to survive. They're target firing on the weakened Stalkers. Yeah, but it's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough here from Dark. GG gets called, and Hero will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. Dark almost pulling off the all-in. Very impressive. Basically, Dark, because of his Ravager shots, his biles, he was able to almost break that natural. Likewise, Hero did overextend in his defense. When Hero had, I want to say, 4 Immortals, he did push out a little bit too far at his natural. He got surrounded, he got shut down. There were some big moments for Dark where he was able to not kill his opponents, but able to do enough damage to try to transition out of it, but barely, it was not enough. Hero did an amazing job at, despite being all-in, he was doing a great job of being active with his oracles. Remember, as the all-in was occurring, Hero, he was harassing with the oracles non-stop, killing worker after worker, drone after drone, making sure that Dark's economy was stifled behind it, making sure that even if Dark was getting damage done, it still wasn't enough. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Hero does take a lead. Again, there's a lot that did come into that, and of course the scouting of Hero was paramount. Remember, Hero, he scouted the early Roach Warren, he scouted the early Lair, and he scouted the Nidus Worm as well. Hero, he saw everything at all times. But now we're getting into game number 2. And oh, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Dragon Kai Gaming. Down in this series, we're going to fight back. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, representing Dragon Kai Gaming as well, as they are teammates. It is Hero. Hello, Hero. Oh boy, as Hero does get eyes on the goal base, just to make sure that Dark doesn't take it himself. So, pretty important scout here from Hero. Dark going to be taking his natural instead. And one moment as I set up the overlay and make sure that Hero is selected. Bam, there we go. But we have seen Dark many times rush into the gold on Alkione. Whether it's on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, Dark loves rushing to the gold base, so it makes sense for Hero to check. A little bit paranoid. Meanwhile, Dark has a standard base setup. So it is going to be a hatch gas pool here from Dark, standard opener from our Red Zerg player. Bearing in mind that last game it was a 15-15, this time, again, no need for that. But my eyes are still on this probe. We have potential for even a proxy Stargate. Cybercore is on the way. Do we throw down a pylon? We shall see. As a probe of Hero looking very suspicious. Show us the pylon, but there it is. So again, this is a prime location for a proxy Stargate to try to rush into oracles and to get economic damage across the map. I'm assuming it's a Stargate, but we'll see if Hero goes into a different direction. Something crazy like a proxy Robo or something else. We'll see. Meanwhile, the Overlord comes in, and there we go. Stargate is all the way. That's it. we're sane here. It's all good. It's all good. So the Stargate is in production. Again, this should be for oracles, just to get extra damage done in the main base. Dark going to be taking his third. And for the time being, Dark is unawares as to what is going on. Here we go. We do have a couple of Lings in production. Again, Dark just trying to stabilize and settle into his 3-base economy. Just going to be droning. Little does he know that he's going to have to be that much more aware and prepared for early Oracles. Now, how many queens do we have? That's the real question. We have 1 queen in the main. We have soon to be 2 queens at the natural. If the queens are out of position, then this Oracle can wreak havoc. And it's not just the Oracles, we have Adepts as well. Oh, ideally, so Hero, he's hoping to draw away the attention with these Adepts. He wants to bring the attention of Dark here to the natural base and open up the main. We do commit to the Shade. Link speed does finish up in time. The first Adept goes down. At the same time, Hero going straight for that mineral line, straight for the drones. Boys are being pulled, and we are going to get 1, 2, 3 workers go down. We're going to get a 4th. Can we get a 5th? Up! Oh my god. A little bit too greedy. We get a 5th drone for the price of the Oracle. Suddenly not worth it. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, it was good damage, don't get me wrong, but losing the Oracle is huge. And that means that this 3rd base of Hero, the would-be 3rd, is that much more vulnerable. Dark is pushing. Dark going for a big counterattack. 2nd Oracle has arrived. Queens are in position. Oracle going to be zoned away. And Dark, he's looking for the proxy. Does find the Stargate. And he will shut it down. The Oracle has spent his energy. And do we force a cancel? Do we depower the Stargate before the Oracle? It looks like we will. And what's scary here is that without this 3rd Oracle, and with this first one running out of energy, how do we expand? How does Hero get his 3rd? He can't. That's the answer. The Oracle taking some extra hits across the map. And here we go. He's taking his linear 3rd instead. Dark has arrived with his Lings. Gets another surround on these Adepts. He's going to get 2 of them. At least 2. Potentially all 3. And this 3rd base is going to be denied. Again, this is the danger of going for a proxy Stargate. If you lose your Oracles, we're stuck on 2 bases. And Hero, he throws down a Twilight Council, a Forge, and a Robo. He's stuck on a 2-base setup. And because of this, Dark can get further and further ahead. He can drone to his heart's content. We have plus on melee on the way. Hero attempting to expand. A good positioning. Very nice SimCity here. Very nice use of the terrain. So we still get 1 of those Adepts, and we still deny the 3rd. And more Lings are coming. Oh my god. More Lings are coming. Once again, really good positioning here from Hero. But another Adept does fall. We get a kill on the probe. Another surround. Not like this. Eventually, Hero will expand, but maybe I spoke too soon because we have additional Lings on the way. The probe is being shut down. And Dark is getting further and further ahead. The wall. The Lings, they get in. Lings, they slip into the main base, and we get a full scout of the main. We get eyes on the tech of choice, on the gateways, on the +1 and Twilight Council. And just Lings, they just continue to flood across the map. Everything escalating out of control because of those dead Oracles. Yeah, and we're forcing a 2-base all-in. We're just forcing a 2-base all-in out of Hero. Dark behind this, safety Roachhorn. Thankfully, we're not going Ling Bane. I was about to be concerned for a moment there. But we are not going Ling Bane. We're getting into Ling Roach production, and Roaches are exactly what we need here against the all-in. Zelts have been spotted, which means Dark now knows it's not Blink. It's going to be Charge. The surround! Oh my god. Okay, we're good. We have the Prism. We have the Archons. Dark has to respect this. He has to back off. And again, we need Roaches and Ravagers desperately. Without them, Hero can pull this off. Like, Dark isn't out of the woods yet. Dark, he has forced the all-in. But, again, can he deal with this? Can he poke the bear? Can he handle the bear? Hero is pushing. We have our Queens for Transfuse. The Lings as well coming in for a surround of Roaches. They barely come out in time. Clutch Transfuse, but the Lings are going down. And the Zealots, they're breaking through the first line of defense. They're breaking through the Queens. Hero, does he have enough? Ah, we lost an Archon. Archon did fall. We have 1 Archon left. Reinforcements are on the way. The Prism does survive. And Hero, he's breaking through the natural. He's barely breaking through. Clutch burrow there from Dark, and we're holding. We are forcing back the Archon. Roaches are amassing. Dark has the economic lead. And Dark will shut this down. I mean, we almost broke through. Hero, he was almost able to break Dark. But he's down to a handful of Zealots, down to an Archon. Still no third. No third base from Hero. He is committed. That was a scary moment from Dark. Dark, he lost all his queens. 6 queens died in that defense. Which means we have less injects. How many queens do we have? 0. Oh my god. He lost every single queen in that defense. So no injects. That means his larva, his production is going to be impacted. Doesn't have the highest drone count. Dark gonna have to rebuild all his queens. And he's rechecking. He's checking for an expansion. Does confirm that there is none yet. As now Hero takes the third. And sure, Dark is kind of stuck at home rebuilding his queens, but once he gets them back up and running, we can drone. We can saturate our 3 bases, we can saturate our 4th, and we can max out. Like, Dark is still in a commanding position. Even with Hero taking a delayed third, like, this is not good enough. Not anymore. The Archon drop, there's a lot of onus on this. This is the only thing keeping Dark's attention back at home. Hero, he can maybe get a couple of drone kills, maybe catch another queen. He has potential with this drop. But again, there's just so much pressure on Hero to gain value. Oh, let's go. We have a Dropper Lord on the way for a link drop into the main. Hero is going to be pushing now with the Immortals alongside the Archons. Now, if Dark was a little bit too greedy, he would be in trouble, but he's only droned up to 60. That's an acceptable worker count. He's been focusing on his army production. He is not caught with his pants down. Good force fields. Ooh, we do slice up some of these roaches. Again, very good force fields, cutting up the army. Engaging with these Ravagers. Where are the piles, though? But Dark is being forced back. A good start to the fight here for Hero. But we're running out of Zealots. We're running out of gateway units. Some buffer. The Archons are barely saved. Hero, he keeps on pushing. But we're running out of steam. At the same time, the drop is not going to be sent out. The piles, it does connect with the army. Good force fields here from Hero once again. He's trading as best he can. But the wall has been broken. Yeah, Dark, he breaks through both Archons and shuts down the Prism as well. And that's going to be the end of this push. That's going to be the end of this all-in. There's no reinforcements, not anymore. And the Hero will lose everything. GG gets called. Dark takes game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. We have a back and forth. And that's really all we ever wanted. A back and forth here between Dark and Hero. It will not be one-sided. It will not be a 3-0. Beautiful. So we are loading in. But again, the big moment there was Hero losing the first Oracle. Remember, with his first Oracle, he got 4 drone kills, and then Hero got a little bit too greedy. He went for the 5th drone. And in that moment, when he went for the 5th drone, he did get it, but he lost to the Oracle. And after losing the first Oracle, suddenly things are looking dire. Not because of the lack of extra economic damage, but because those Oracles are very necessary to expand. That's the power of a Stargate opener, is with your Oracles you can harass, but you can also protect your third base, or your potential third, against link counterattacks. As soon as the Oracles went down, immediately Dark went for a counterattack. He took map control, shut down the proxy, and never allowed Hero to expand. Forced the all-in. An all-in that Hero didn't want to go for. Remember, it took a while for Hero to kind of accept his fate. He was fighting so hard to expand and take the third, but time and time again, Dark was there to stop him, and eventually Hero was forced into the all-in. And with that, we're getting into game number 3, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hard Lead, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing CranKy Z Gaming. Tying up the series 1-1, it is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming as well. As we are tied up 1-1 in the series, it is Hero. Again, Hero trying to be spicy with a proxy Stargate, was punished in the end for it. Was punished in the end, and I don't expect another proxy Stargate in this series. We're going to be calming things down a little bit as, hello, Senor Dark. Where are we going? As Dark sends out his first drone, and we are going for a proxy hatchery. Now, this should be a hatch block. It is a hatch opener. So, hatchery back at home and a hatchery across the map. We are looking to disrupt the opener and delay the expansion of Hero. Dark is very fond of this in the ZVP. Now, this is not an all-in. This is not aggression. Remember, there's no spawning pool. There's no pool. There's no gas. It is a hatch opener out of Dark, just designed to really throw a wrench in the works and make the Protoss player as uncomfortable as possible in the early game and forcing a lot of lost mining time. Again, the boys are being forced off the mineral line. A Zealot is being forced out as well. We need the Zealot to deal with this. And Dark is going to try and drone heavily behind this and take an economic lead. It's almost like the equivalent of in this matchup when a Protoss player goes for a pylon block. It's kind of like that. Kind of like the pylon block that we see. Except obviously this is dealing a little bit more damage. It is more costly of an investment. But again, Dark, he whips this out at least once in the PvZ. As the expansion is now on the way. From here, Dark usually tries to go for a gas steal. Oh! Ooh, a little bit too late. The gas is not stolen. And Hero will take control of his main base. And now the turntables. Now it's going to be Dark on the back foot, because we forced out this Zealot. Doesn't look like a lot, but with this Zealots, we also have an Adept to support, and Hero is looking to try and get damage done across the map. We even have the Probe, adding some extra DPS. But again, it's going to be on Dark with slow Lings and a handful of Queens to minimize economic damage. Hero, he's looking for some drone kills, and there we go, he does force the mineral line away. Again, this is already damage, already lost mining time in the natural base. So Hero doing a great job of getting some counter damage done. He picks off a couple of Lings, does shade to the low ground. And he's forcing a lot of Lings out of Dark. Oh my god, a surprising amount. It's going to be, what, 16 Lings here from Dark. Adepts, they will get eyes on this. Ling speed is halfway done. And now we're going to be droning. But again, Dark would have liked to have made all these Lings into drones, but he was forced into Ling production because of this counterattack. So there's a bit of a back and forth going on here. Ooh, and Hero, our tech of choice. That is a Robo. Not a Twilight Council, not a Stargate. With a Robo opener, we can go one of two ways. We can go for early game Immortal production. We can go for something a lot more standard, which is Disruptor drops. This should be leading into a Robotics Bay, into a Disruptor, into Warp Prison Speed, into drop play. We'll see where Hero takes us. So far, going to be Observer first. There it is. There's the Bay. So this should be for Disruptors. I say should because Hero may be influenced by Estrella. Estrella, he does like whipping out Colossus drops instead, but we do catch some Adepts. The Stalkers and Adepts get caught out. Nice pick off there from Dark. But Estrella, he likes to mix in like Colossus drops, Nina as well. I think we've seen Hero do it once. But if this was any other Protoss, I would say Disruptors. Meanwhile, behind this, Dark going to be droning up. Again, doing a really good job at denying the third. Eventually, though, Hero should expand. Unlike the previous game, he has a little bit more to work with. Plenty of Adepts. The Overlord does fall, supply blocking Dark. And there is that Disruptor production. It's going to be Disruptors and Warp Prison Speed to harass across the map. Now behind this, Dark is getting into a Roach Warren, so it's going to be a Ling Roach. We're not prioritizing +1 melee like we did previously. And Hero is going for a counterattack. A bold move to not keep these Adepts back at home. Typically, these Adepts are going to be necessary to expand, but we're harassing instead. So a little bit risky here from Hero. Oh, he is getting caught out. One Adept does fall. 2 Adepts make it in, and they can one-shot workers. Oh my god. Suddenly, this is worth it for Hero. It's 2 drone kills, forces out some spores. Behind this, hero should be expanding. With the death of those adepts, Dark is moving out. Dark is going for a counterattack again, looking to deny that third. Meanwhile, we're going double star. Oh my god! Wait, what? This is what I meant earlier. When it comes to Dark versus Hero, it's a very unique series, and no other Protoss and Zerg like pair really does them justice. So it's going to be a Disruptor drop into double Stargate. I imagine this is Phoenix production. And if they get in, and if they do get into the middle line, 2 workers going to be going down at the same time. Would you have the Disruptor drop into the main base? Would you take down the Queens? Queens do fall. Good damage so far here from Hero. Lings are turning back around. And we're getting ready for some more Novas. We need a little bit more time. We do force so much lost mining time here. Oh my god, we go for the Queen. We get another Queen. And yep, there we go. It is going to be double Stargate Phoenix production here from Hero, rushing into +1 air attack. Okay. So, Disruptor into Phoenix. This is a bit of like a PvT composition because this should be Phoenix Colossus, right? We should from here be getting to Colossus production. Meanwhile, Lings, they have arrived, and this is where the Colossus comes into play, but there is none. A good surround here from the Lings. Good Sim City here with the force fields. Reducing that surface area. Shield battery is finishing up, and Hero will protect his third. And the Phoenixes, it looks like they will reveal themselves. Spire is on the way. So what I love out of these Phoenixes, I don't know if you're aware of this, but traditionally against a Robo Opener, against Disruptor drops, as we get another Queen, but traditionally against Disruptor drops, it is very common to go for Mutas. That's why we have the Spire. We did intend to go into Mutas, but that's why we went double Stargate Phoenix. So Hero, he's kind of cutting Dark off when it comes to his tech choice and his tech transition. Just shutting down the Muta play already with Mass Phoenix. And this will be forcing out Corruptors. There we go. Corruptors are on the way. And as Corruptors are being forced out, we have Void Rays. Like, it's like Hero, he's one step ahead. The Phoenixes force out the Corruptors, and the Void Rays shut down the Corruptors as well. Meanwhile, at the same time, Big Lane counterattack. The wall is not a wall. This is not what Hero expected. Not what he wanted, as we get 5 dead workers in the natural Lings. They get into the main base, and they scout the Void Rays. He sees, he knows. Big scout here from Dark. This should not have happened. As the Lings, they kill 9 workers in the main. And behind this, Dark should be amassing Queens. As he does catch these Phoenixes. Phoenixes being forced back. There are still Lings in the main. We're trying to keep up. Again, the Gateway army is so immobile because there's no charge, there's no blink, there's no glaives. Because we went Robo into Stargate play, like there's just very little to deal with this. Here we go, the Corruptors, they go straight for the natural. Where are the Void Rays? Oh, they're not. Well, we're going all in. We're not turning back around, which means this Nexus may fall. Yeah, the overcharge is not good enough, and the Nexus is gonna go down. Hero is committed. And can Hero end the game with this push? Big Novas on the Queens. How many Roaches and Ravagers? We don't really have that many. Uh-oh. Dark doesn't really have much of a ground army. There we go, 14 Roaches in production. We dive on top of the Queens. Oh my god, we bring down the Prism. The Prism does fall. Boys are being pulled, and Hero, he's being surrounded. Dark, he's collapsing on this army. Yeah, the Corruptors, they clean up everything in the air and everything on the ground. There's nothing left here. Hero is down to 2 bases. There's nothing left from Hero. And Dark, he's popping off. Does catch some Stalkers. Again, the Ling run-by is what won Dark this game. Just really crippling the economy, forcing an overreaction out of Dark, out of Hero, forcing basically an all-in. And we dive into the main, shutting down the last of the Phoenixes. And not the best trade here out of Dark. He's going to be losing a bit. Losing some of these Corruptors. But again, Hero still doesn't have his natural. And now we're going into Mutas. I love this. Dark, he reset the Phoenixes. There's no reason to rebuild them, and now Mutas are on the way. Dark, he's just opened up this tech. It's now available to him. It's now viable. We want another base. Blink still not done, by the way. These Stalkers are having a hard time keeping up. And can we get a kill? Uh-oh. It's going to be close. It's going to be so close, and it looks like we can get a kill on the Nexus, just barely. One Corruptor survived. The bases do fall. Hero on one base economy. He's being picked apart, and here come the Mutas. The Mutas, they dive into the natural. GG gets called as the Mutas have been revealed, and Dark will take a lead in this series. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. A very chaotic game there from both sides. Remember, it started with a hatch block at the natural base of Hero into Disruptor Drop, which did do well, by the way. Like, the Disruptor Drop was gaining a lot of value. We killed a lot of queens. We delayed a lot of mining into the Phoenix production. It all made sense. It was all working. It was all working well for Hero. And then the Ling flood. And then the Ling run by in the natural, in the main, probes are falling. It wasn't just the fact that they were killing workers. Remember, it also forced Hero to be stuck in between his bases, chasing the Lings. And Dark also scouted all those Void Rays. He scouted the Void Rays. He was fully aware that they were on the way. So Dark could prepare back at home with Queen production, with Roaches, with Ravagers, with Corruptors. Dark in control of that game. Was able to wrestle the control away from Hero. And with that, Dark is one game away from becoming this week's KSL champion, the first champion of 2024. It's going to be on Hero to fight back. Oh boy. As we load in to Site Delta, game number 4. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing CranKy Gaming, one game away from becoming this week's champion. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, also representing CranKy Gaming, DKZ. It is Hero. To have a probe being sent out across the map, Hero going for a gate expand, and with this probe we'll be forcing out the unnatural natural out of Dark. This is very unique to Dark, but Dark, he has 2 drones. His goal here is to try to sneak past and try to slip in, but Hero is wise to it. He will be pylon blocking, and Dark will not expand. Dark is forced into the unnatural natural. So this is a risky maneuver here, and it does mean that Dark is in a bit of a worse position because he has an extra drone that isn't doing anything. Extra drone that isn't mining. And from here we will get into our openers. Overall, hatch, gas pool out of Dark. And Hero was able to successfully force a really awkward base to be taken. Now, with this exposed third, Hero has the option to go into a Twilight Council. Twilight Council openers are suddenly available for Hero, and it could work well. We have seen Hero defeat Dark with Glaive Adepts before. Can he do it again? Assuming it's a Twilight Council, we'll see. Could be another Stargate. Or it could be a Robo. Bearing in mind that Hero this series even went for a Robo opener in the previous game. It is all possible. This pylon placement is a little bit further back. It's more of a conservative pylon placement, so something like a Twilight Council follow-up would make sense, just to hide it and keep it further back. But we'll see. Still can't rule out the Stargate. Meanwhile, oh my god, the probe! Up! Fighting toe-to-toe with that drone. Gets eyes on the saturation, and there it is. It is going to be a Stargate opener. Okay, no Glaive Adepts. Not yet, not yet. Now, from here, this should be Oracles. I mentioned before that Classic has been very much so in love with Void Ray openers or Phoenix openers. Hero does do it from time to time, but especially based on the rally, looking like an Oracle-based opener instead. We'll keep our eyes peeled. Across the map, we can see Hero being as annoying as possible, trying to delay that expansion. Third base is on the way. Hero does spot the third, is aware. Meanwhile, we have a couple of Lings slipping into the natural base. Dark wants a probe kill if possible. Oh my god. Almost gets one. Is going to be forced back. Meanwhile, we have our first unit of choice here from Hero with that Stargate, and it is going to be the Oracle. So it's going to be Oracle first out of Hero. Now, this should be triple Oracle into a third base. This is looking like a very standard build out of Hero. Now, what comes after the Oracles, that's going to be the next big question. And I guess whether or not Hero can even take a third, as he has been struggling to do so this series. All the Adepts are getting called out. A big catch here from Dark. Can he get on top of that first Adept? It looks like he can. First Adept does fall. Now, this is important. These two Adepts are crucial when it comes to protecting this expansion. And Dark knows. Dark, he knows he's moving out. The Adept is still softened up from earlier. And he does go for the surround. And the Adept, it's gonna go down. Big pick off here from Dark. Meanwhile, across the map, the Oracle shaving off some Lings. As Dark is looking to cancel this third base. But the second Oracle does arrive. Just in time. Again, if Dark had gotten here a couple of seconds sooner, he wouldn't have just killed the Adept. He would have denied the base entirely by getting on top of that pylon. Sorry, getting on top of the probe. So very clutch that Hero was able to expand. Behind this, Dark threatening a dive into the natural, but we should be in position. Oh, the Adept does fall. Dark forcing the Oracles to turn back around for a second time. And we have +1 melee on the way. So Dark is going Mass Ling. Mass Ling here from Dark. Going to be delaying his roaches by quite some time. Hero, that is a 4th Oracle. Hello. We have 3 Oracles to harass. We have a 4th Oracle on the way, which means we could go up to 5, even 6 Oracles. We want the Queens. Up. Oh, looks like we trade 1 for 1. Not the best trade here from Hero. A little bit distracted. Does get a second Queen. The Lings, they get across the map. They get on top of the shield battery. The Oracles, they kill 3 drones. No Spore. Oh, no Spore at the natural. And the Lings, they don't get enough done across the map. That's going to be 5 dead workers. And we have another Oracle on the way. I mean, Hero did lose 1, so technically this is going to be the new 4th Oracle. We have a transition. We have +1 for Forge. We have Twilight Council of Robo. The Twilight Council is delayed because of all the Oracle production. And Hero is moving out. The Adepts are going to be surrounded, but we have plenty of Oracles to deal with these Lings. Do force them back. As the Lings, they do engage. They get 2 more Adepts. Meanwhile, Hero, he wants to get harassed across the map. He wants to be active. But the Lings, they just keep forcing him back home. Meanwhile, behind this, we have +1 Blink on the way. Remember, Blink is later than normal because of all the Oracles. That's where our gas has been spent. Immortal production has commenced to make up for that. And Hero is kind of stuck at home here. I say kind of because he still has all these Oracles. He can be active. He's just been having a really hard time moving out. Once again, Lings threatening the bases. Banelings are on the way. Dark going to be taking a 4th. We're waddling in. Uh oh. Hero, does he react? Does he notice in time? As the Banelings, they waddle into the mineral line, and do we pull back? No good. We don't. And the mineral line is gonna go down. 18 dead workers. Aye, aye, aye. Massive connections. Across the map, we get 3 drone kills, but the Queens are in position. The Oracles are forced back, and Dark takes a worker lead. A big stasis. Doesn't go off. Another Oracle goes down. Dark is not done. Still amassing more Lings. Behind this Hero, he's getting into Colossus production. He's getting into his Colossi. Resaturating this 3rd base. And Dark is now working on that Roach Warren. So it looks like Dark does want to get into Lingbane Roach Ravager. Very solid mid-game composition. The drone count of Dark is still a little bit lacking, but there we go. 6 more drones on the way. Dark going to be getting up to past 70 workers. The Oracles have done a good job at stifling the economy of Dark. Losing 9 drones in total. Ooh, as we do spot the move out. This is going to be a big moment for Hero. A big power strike. Dark is still supply blocked. Oh my god. We need roaches. We need as many roaches and ravagers as we can muster. Dark is woefully underprepared. This push is hitting hard and fast. And Dark is not ready for it. Again, the supply block may have just killed him. As we're pushing into that third base. Big force field here, catching all those queens. The Lings, they come in for a surround. We go for the Bile as well. But the Lings, they get annihilated. And it looks like Hero, he has too much. He is breaking through. The supply block just was brutal for Dark. GG gets called, and Hero will fight back, forcing the ace match. GG. GG, well played. That was his moment. That was his moment for Hero. Again, Dark, he had 6 Overlords on the way. He had the Roach Warren. 0 roaches. There were 0 roaches that were ready for that fight, for that attack. Dark caught with his pants down, and Hero able to fight back. Here we go. We're going to the ace match. Again, if the game had gone on any longer, Dark would have gotten out of control, right? Dark, he had annihilated that mineral line. He was droning up to past 70, soon to be 77 drones. Dark was getting into Lingbane Roach Ravager. So there was a window, there was a timing that Hero had to hit. And just so happened to also coincide with Dark being supply blocked. The stars, they aligned for Hero. And it all ends here. It all ends in game number 5. We'll go the final game here of the series. It all ends on Oceanborn. Here we go. Here we go. Catching up. The game exploded. It did. Ace match, best match. I mean, exactly. That's all we wanted. We wanted a game 5 between Dark and Hero. Regardless of how this goes, we win. The viewers win. We get all 5 games. And it all ends here. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing CranKy Gaming, being forced into the ace match. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Protoss player, representing CranKy Gaming, as they are teammates, clawing his way back into this, forcing that ace match. It is Hero. Thanks for casting. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves. Again, if you're tuning in for maybe the first time, welcome, welcome. Hope you're enjoying the very first KSL of the year. Again, a big shout out to Chicken Man and Dave Testa. Exclamation mark KSL in the chat, and you will get a link to the Patreon. If you want to support this tournament, if you want these replays, if you want your hands on some juicy Dark Hero Gumiho replays, then Patreon is the place to be, as they do send out replay packs to all of the patrons. But outside of that, thank you. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves, as it all ends here. It all ends in Game 5. So far, a standard opener. Hatch, gas pool. This time, Dark was not forced to take the unnatural natural. A very safe, very comfortable opener out of Dark. Meanwhile, Hero going for a gate expand. Important to point this out because earlier this series, Dark did go for a hatch block, a proxy hatch across the map, and has been going for 15-15s. But here in the ace match, everything so far is looking normal. Everything so far is looking standard. And we can take this moment to talk about the map. Again, we're loading into Oceanborn. This is a very small map, very short rush distance by ground. We have seen many a Zerg player go for Queen Walks, whether it's a Queen Walk with Roaches, or a Nidus all-in, or even a German Taxi with Dropper Lords. We have seen a lot of aggression on Oceanborn, and this goes both ways. Twilight Council openers can also be very popular and very commonplace on Oceanborn as well. So we'll see if either one of our players wants to try to take advantage of the map and be aggressive. For now, Stargate once again. Hero has mixed it up this series. He has gone for Robo openers in the past, but here, once again, another Stargate. Should be for Oracles, but we can't rule out a Void Ray opener. As the Overlord of Dark comes in, and Dark sees the tech. He does confirm the Stargate. So Dark is aware of at least a tech of choice, and soon I'm sure he's going to be confirming the first units as well. As Hero likewise is moving out for his own scout as well. Again, Hero, he didn't probe scout at all, which was a little bit risky and a little bit greedy, especially against Dark, but now he arrives with his adept and he will get eyes on the third base. So Hero does recognize, okay, everything is looking as it should, everything is on the up and up. As we shade into the main. Gonna be able to pick off some of these lings, potentially a drone. Oh, we do get one worker in the main base. Not bad. Not too bad whatsoever. Second adept has arrived. The first one does escape, but I spoke too soon as it does get chased down. The adept will fall. And again, Hero just testing the waters. As I mentioned before, because Hero didn't probe scout, he was just desperately looking for, you know, any scouting information, any additional gases, any fast Roach Warren, any fast Evo Chamber, as the first Oracle has arrived. And the Spore isn't quite done, so we're going to get a couple of drones. 2 workers go down. At the same time, Dark going for his own lane counterattack at the third base location. We do have an adept in position, and we have a second Oracle coming out just in time as well. Hero, no fear, he doesn't turn around with his oracles. 2 oracles can one-shot workers, so this is suddenly that much more threatening to the mineral line. This time the Spore is done. Good target firing. Oh, the oracle getting very low. As Hero peels off the second one, goes into the third base, gets 3 drone kills, and even gets a stasis trap in the natural. Very nice movement here out of Hero. He does keep all of his oracles alive and gets quite a bit of damage done. And at the same time, the lings were forced back home and the third base is getting up and running. And you saw what Hero could do with 2 oracles, now we have a third. Behind this, we're transitioning, we have a Twilight Council and a Forge. This should be +1 in Blink. Should be, but it could also be Charge as well. That's also on the table for Hero, if you want to go into Charge or Archon as a unit composition. But again, +1 Blink Stalkers is kind of the go-to. +1 is on the way, and there is a Blink behind it. So very standard play here out of Hero, and he's being very aggressive. He has 2 oracles on the right-hand side, he has a 3rd oracle on the left, and he has adepts pushing right through the center. Stasis trap. Oh, no reaction. Big stasis trap. We catch 5 drones and a queen. At the same time, the adepts, they do not shade in. Another stasis trap here at the natural. Dark, his defenses are being tested, and damage is being dealt. Meanwhile, oh, we're going for it. Remember at the start of the game, we were talking about like Queen Walks and German taxis and all-ins. Well, I'm used to Roach all-ins. This is Ling Queen. We're whirling everything across the map. Dark, he's had enough. He's sending it here towards a third. Hero knows he's getting ready. Cannons, shield batteries are on the way. Dark making use of Oceanborn. Again, the rush distance by ground is quite short, which is why we can walk across the map. How much do we have? 6 queens, 11 banelings, and 25 lings. Force fields are going to be key here. Now, because there are no roaches, that means no ravagers, which means we cannot deal with force fields. They cannot be broken by the biles, as they are not here. So these sentries are going to be so important for Hero in the defense. Banelings are waddling in. Show us the force fields. So far, so good. Oh, but Banelings, they do barely get into the mineral line. 7 probes go down. But the main army does hold strong. Again, very clutch force fields here from Hero. And we are running out of energy. And Dark isn't done. He's coming in with a second wave. And Hero, he evacuates. He does give up on his third base. Overcharge is popped. But the sentries are going to be going down. The Banelings, they do connect. They shut down the shield battery. They shut down the cannon. But we are running out of Ling Bane. Dark, he may have dealt with the stack defense, but what about the army? We're running out of Lings, we're running out of Banelings, and the queens are exposed. They're going to be going down. Hero, he shuts down the army, can go for a massive counterattack, and remember, he preemptively pulled away the workers. He saved the boys. They can come back. We can go back to mining. Hero going for a massive counterattack. Dark has very little to defend. He lost every single one of his queens, has a handful of Banelings remaining. Gets us around. But we have Blink. We can blink away, but oh god. The sentry's going to be shut down. The adepts as well. Dark catching these stalkers. But the oracles, they come in to support. They shut down the lings. The stalkers, they stand strong. And we can get another queen. We are running out of energy on these oracles. A bit of an overextension here from Hero. He had momentum, yes, but he is being cleaned up. Every single Stalker falls here. 2 of them escape. And Dark behind this, even though he does survive, even though he cleans up the army, the drone count. The drone count is what matters here. Dark, he's down to 48 workers. Hero on 72 probes. Oh my god. Again, Dark was all in, and he has a lot of recovering to do. Like, killing the army is not good enough. He needs to cripple the economy. Dark isn't out of this, but the longer this goes on, the worse it is for Dark. Dark, he needs to get into a mineral line, kill some workers, kill some probes. He needs to make some magic happen here, otherwise Hero will run away with this. 4th base is on the way. We have the Bay, Forge, 1-1 upgrades. Soon to be Colossus production. Dark is taking his 4th base. He is droning, but again, he's got a lot of droning to do. As the game will settle for a moment. Dark taking a 5th. Again, just droning up. Tech-wise, Dark is stuck with Lingbane Roach Ravager. The Safe Strap going to be going up. Not getting too much done, but we do catch some drones here at the 4th base, and workers that we cannot afford to lose. Dark, his economy is already in shambles, and we lose another 7 drones. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. As again, he was cutting corners. No Spore here at the 4th base. Dark coming in for a Link counterattack can maybe punish this mineral line, but nah, Hero's in position. He's not too far away. He has Blink. He has Sag Defense, and here come those Colossi. Colossus production is underway. At the same time, Hero going for some harass, going for a Zealot drop. Remember, Hero, he's already on 4 base economy. He's on 81 workers. Dark is still recovering. Dark still working on Baneling speed, Roach speed. And on the one hand, you could argue, oh, Dark, he's slowly catching up with the drone count. That is true, but Hero's been mining more for longer. That's the thing. Like, the worker counts may be looking similar, but Hero has had a better economy, has been building up a bank, investing in a higher form of tech. The quality of the army from Hero is getting out of control. Meanwhile, big Link counterattack, but we are in position. The Lings do not get into the natural. That's another way to come back. Like, if Dark can somehow get into the main or into the natural base, then we can have a chance. The other thing is that if Hero overextends, if he pushes onto creep, if he pushes in with only half of his army, if he misjudges the situation, maybe Dark can win a fight. For now, Hero, though, he's just chilling here, getting further ahead, not just on 4 bases, now he has a 5th on the way as well. Just maintaining his economic lead. Prism across the map doesn't get in. Dark in position. As both armies are maxing out. Now, this is where you have to be careful. The soup does lie. Both armies are at 200 supply, but Dark's army is inflated, and the quality of the army for Hero, again, is what matters most. That is 3 Colossi, soon to be 4 Colossi. Oh my god. 4 Colossi, Archons as well. So both armies are maxed, but one not quite like the other. But again, there is still a chance, there's still an opportunity. Like, Dark's army works best out in the open. If we can get a surround, if we can surround the army, collapse on top of it, come in from behind, then Dark can connect and have some really juicy connections with his Banelings, and he can maybe clean this up. There we go. As they'll say, come in for some surround, or they come in for some harass, they get cleaned up. Stalker's pushing through the center. Hero looks like he wants to wait for +3, as his Forge upgrades are just about to finish up. Prism only. Hero having some fun here. Baiting out some of those Banelings with some Zealots. Very efficient trade. Banelings are wasted, and here we go. Here comes the push from Hero with 4 Colossi. He has the Prism to reinforce, to juggle, of course, as well. Dark setting up a surround. Again, it's all about the engage, all about this final fight. The Banelings are rolling in. That's a lot of Banelings. And they crash into the Archons. They do get one of the Colossi. Potentially, no, we save them. The juggling is too good. Every single Colossus survives. And Hero, he just cleans up this army. He breaks on through, shuts down the Ling Bane, shuts down the Roaches. Every single Colossus survives. And Hero is snowballing out of control. How much HP? 1 HP! 1 HP Colossus. Oh my god. As it looks like it should finally go down. No, it doesn't. Hero, he juggles, he saves it. And it looks like he's snowballing out of control. Again, breaking through into the natural. The boys are being pulled as well. But Hero, after defending against the all-in earlier, he will not fall. He would not fumble the ball here. Doesn't throw it as he breaks the natural base. GG gets called, and Hero will take the series 3-2, becoming this week's KSL champion. GG. GG, well played. Hero does take it in the end, and he will be our first Korean StarCraft League champion of 2021. Congratulations. GG, well played. Oh my god. Dark was having a bit of a harder time in the early game. Winding it back a little bit, remember, Dark, he was struggling to defend against the Oracles and the Adepts. He was losing a lot of workers, and in a way, he was forced all in. It's possible that he may have wanted to go all in anyway. Regardless, the all-in did occur. Mass Queens walling across the map, the Ling Bane as well, and it all came down to the defense. It all came down to the force fields, to the micro, to the control. Not just that, but Hero was able to set up his defenses in time because of the scouting. He was able to see it coming ahead of time. Cannons, shield batteries at the third base, the overcharge, the force fields, the wherewithal of Hero to pull back his workers. Remember, he was able to evacuate his third base, recognizing that he would lose control of the mineral line, saves all the workers, which means he maintains his economic lead as well. And with that, after the initial defense, Hero was ahead. He did have a solid lead at that point, and Dark was hoping for Hero to make a mistake. He was hoping for Hero to maybe be a little bit too overeager and push out, or maybe slip up in his defenses and like leave a vulnerable mineral line. But just really solid play there out of Hero afterwards. Able to fortify himself, able to max out. And as we saw, even though both armies were maxed, again, both armies were not quite the same, as the quality of the supply was there for Hero. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations! And my condolences to Dark, but a really good performance here. Dark, sure, he may have lost to Hero, but he made it to the finals. Made it all the way to the finals, and he forced an ace match as well. It was a good series. It was a good back and forth series there, so GG, well played. Again, Dark and Hero are some of the best that Korea has to offer when it comes to Zerg and Protoss players, so it was an amazing series nonetheless. And very quickly here, just to reiterate, if you want to support the Korean StarCraft League, !KSL in the chat, and you will get a link to the Patreon. And I bring this up again just because the Patreon initially was really successful. It was really successful. There was a lot of resources available, and KSL even hosted a one-off event, the Korean Summer Slam, a couple of months ago. But support on the Patreon has been waning a little bit. And from my understanding, Chickenman did a post yesterday or the day before that KSL is no longer going to be a weekly, just because the funds have been lacking a little bit and we don't actually have enough to pay out. I think it's like 400 USD a month, sorry, 400 USD a week. We don't have enough of that, so the KSL is no longer going to be a weekly tournament. It is going to be a bi-weekly tournament. So we're going to be taking a break next week, and KSL will be back the week after. So every 2 weeks will be KSL, unless we do get a little bit more sustainable support on the Patreon, then we can come back to weeklies. But it does depend. It does depend. So if you want to support the Korean StarCraft League, the Patreon is the place to do it. By no means do you need to. Don't feel pressured to. Like, regardless of whether the Patreon gets boosted or not, KSL will continue in one form or another, in a weekly or a bi-weekly. The events will continue, so don't worry about that. Still going to be plenty of Korean StarCraft coming at you. It's going to be coming out. Catching up in the chat. Catching up. 10 out of 10 observer skills too. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. Catching up. Thanks as usual for the casting. Oh, thank you, Cyclones. Thank you. Shout out to Neogist in the chat. Emperor Fuble. Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos. And yes, we'll see you guys in 5 to 6 hours. So if you enjoyed the casting and if you want more CranKy Duckling action, follow us. Follow us here on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. ! Socials in the chats, where for free you can follow us on whatever platform you wish. We have a Discord server, and we are also co-streaming on YouTube. So, again, if you're in the YouTube chats, welcome as well. Thank you so much for watching. Our VODs are uploaded to YouTube immediately. I should say the stream is on YouTube, and the VODs will eventually be cut and uploaded at a later date. So, plenty of content on YouTube. If you enjoy VODs, YouTube is the place to be. Otherwise, our next broadcast is going to be in a couple of hours. Oh boy. This is a very important weekend. This is the weekend of WTL, of World Team League. We started with day 1 of WTL playoffs last night. We casted Team Liquid versus Mystery Gaming, and we casted the winner of that series up against... Oh god, my memory is failing me. Up against Psystorm. That's it. Psystorm Gaming as well. So we had day 1 last night, and in 5 hours time, we're going to be back with day number 2. Day number 2. It's going to be Shopify Rebellion versus Team Liquid. The winner of that series goes up against CranKy Gaming. If you haven't heard of it, World Team League is kind of like the modern Pro League. So if you're a fan of Pro League back in the day, this is similar. It's similar, not the same. It's online, so we don't have that offline aspect. And the format is a little bit different instead. Best of 2s. Best of 2s, creating a best of 7 overall. So we can get into the format if you tune in live. We'll get there. We'll get there. But again, Shopify versus Team Liquid is tonight, so players like Clem, Cure, Mana, Skillis, Alaser are going to be going up against Scarlet, Bjorn, Lambo, and Harston. A really good matchup, a really good series. Make sure you're a part of it. The event is going to start in 5 hours, but I believe we're going to be live in 4 hours time, because there's going to be a show match. There's going to be a show match before the main event. Just a fun 2v2. There's going to be a 2v2 event between some of the casters. I believe Crank and Rotterdam are going to be representing the foreign casters, and we have F91 and Xiaoxe as the Chinese casters, and they're going to be representing, SC Boy and WTL. So we have like some caster show matches before the event, and then we can sink our teeth into like the serious business and into the StarCraft, into Shopify versus Team Liquid. Kozan, Ekon Syces. Oh, they're the Alpha X casters. Yeah. Good friends. They're good friends. Much love to Kozan and Akon. I haven't heard Akon cast. I've casted Akon. I've casted him before. But I'm sure he's amazing. But yeah, with that, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We're going to be heading off for the night. Again, the next KSL is in 2 weeks. Our next broadcast is in 4 hours. And if you're not going to be awake in 4 hours, I know it's a bad time for NA. I know it's a really bad time for North America, so I apologize if you're based in the United States or Canada or Latin America. I do apologize. We'll be back tomorrow with some more StarCraft as well. Let me just double check our calendar. Tomorrow is more WTL. Yeah, day 3 of WTL, and I believe we're also going to be casting a special event. We're going to be casting the Christmas Cup. More details soon. It's a little bit late for Christmas, but we'll be hosting an event called the Christmas Cup as well. It is hosted by Hatsu, so we'll be the official English cast for that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We'll see you guys in a couple of hours with WTL. Until then, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Give them some love. Give them some support. We'll see you guys next time. Hasta luego. Ciao. Ciao. Hasta luego.